Well, I say every day it's a getting closer to taking a bath with my fucking toaster.
Greetings.
I was into it, man. I was into
What the
it.
hell was that?
That was sent to us by Suka, one of our subscribers and friends here on the internet. Here
It was
just
fantastic.
a little bit ago.
I was joining in.
That was quite good. Hey, Larry. So I'm gonna slide Mr. Nemec over to the center. Greetings, salutations, welcome to the 56th episode of Screaming Into the Void, where we talk about whatever the hell we feel like. My name is Samuel the Infamous, and with me today are my co-panelists, the Hijabi Gamer.
Peace. It's Saturday. Video games. Been playing all day. Tomorrow as well.
Lawrence Knight.
What's up, everybody? Go away, Kohai.
Joker Voice.
Hello. If I was any more amazing, I would be illegal. I am in 4 states, including the city of Gotham, but here I am just fine.
Know me without you.
Hey.
Short and sweet. I like it. And joining us today for the first time is our special guest panelist, Mr. Corin Nemec. Welcome.
I'm Corin Nemec, and I have no idea what to expect, but I'm ready for anything.
I'll pray for you, Mr. Nemec.
Please do. In multiple languages.
Cool. Will do.
All right.
Arabic.
Well, as we were just discussing backstage, the and longtime viewers will know that our typical format is that we'll start on a topic and we just kind of go wherever it goes. It's sort of a natural free flow conversation. So, Mr. Nemec, if at any point you have anything you want to say or add or jump in at any time, just do run right over us. We have no issue with that.
I'll do my best.
So.
We tend to do that to each other a lot. So
yeah. It's a little chaotic, but it's a lot of fun.
It's a
I've got medical insurance.
Yes.
Yes, it's a catastrophe. Real quick, let's say hello to our chat. Suka, hello, buddy. This is the man who graced us with the dance party. Sent that clip to me in an email this weekend, so I stitched it in. I probably won't be using it a lot because the music is copyrighted, but
it is.
Yes, it is. We got hit for that video last week. So
we could probably make something similar if you just grab all your pots and pans out of the drawer and drop them on the floor at one time. And
that'll do it.
And that's how East Asians get their names, by the sounds of banging metal.
Wow, she went there.
All right, we're gonna start off that way. Ozzy, welcome, buddy. Looks like he's not gonna be able to join us for the whole show, but we'll be thinking of you, man. Let's see, we've got Kohai Masochist, Demon Memer, and our wonderful Mod is with us today. She makes a lot of our memes, which I will probably not be showing too many of because a lot of them involve dildos.
I have
hello.
no idea.
Hello, Corey Cochran. Oh, please, you've seen all.
Live without dildos.
Yeah.
A life without dildos is a good life for me.
Yeah.
Oh, then you were definitely in the wrong place, sir.
Oh.
You got Zillich with us, Zenny Biscuit.
Zenny.
Hey, Tom, the Rogue Attraction is with us.
Tom,
for Geeks and
hey.
Gamers. Shrive 420. Behemoth. And I see Falk Zod so far in the chat. And we'll be greeting people as they come in. So I guess the big thing, the big order of the day, the thing that I think is going to affect all of us in the long run.
The price of eggs?
Well, that too. Is Darth Schwab and his bid to take over the world.
Oh, him again. Okay.
Look, if he needs a diversity hire, I'll do it for a couple $1 million. And give you all the secrets, all right? Just don't tell them
that's how it works.
No, they've been doing a great job of giving away all their own secrets, so it's fine.
Well, they're
insiders when it's all outside in the open now.
Yeah, well, they're winning, so there's no reason to hide it anymore, right?
I don't know. I would say that might be. I would think the opposite. I would think that would be. The I think that in the information war, I think that it's a pretty slippery slope that they're on right now in present time anyway. And that once a house of cards falls, it falls quickly. So, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
I think that there's a chance between now and whenever somebody tries to hit the reset button. I think that there is a chance to still stall things out and stop the catastrophe from happening down the
I'd say
road.
I would say that's kind of true with the current climate in Hollywood. I mean, there's a lot of backlash going against the big studios when you get a film like The Sound of Freedom, which was dumped by two major studios and is kicking ass with the message of trafficking children is bad, and there are the pundits who are trying to say that this is a bad film, and the public is showing otherwise.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and not
for
to
sure.
mention, oh, excuse me, not to mention a lot of the people in the press, from what I read, that are trying to warn people away from this movie and making all kinds of accusations. They thought Cuties was great and that everybody should watch it.
Mhm.
Yeah, that says a little something about their moral compass. But
Yeah.
I think that from what I can tell, so long as something that's not too distracting comes up, I think the eyes are on the prize for the majority right now, and that it's pretty obvious to see what's trying to be spoon fed to us tastes very bitter, and nobody
Mhm.
wants to eat it. So I think that so long as we can keep some range of stability between now and when the first card falls, I think that we have a very strong chance of being able to beat the beast system and stop it in its tracks.
I hope so, because if the whole idea of owning nothing, you're gonna have to pry my Xbox out of my cold, dead hands. Sorry, I sneezed.
Yeah.
I think at that point, Kat, the Xbox will probably be the least of your issues. But yeah, I hope you're right, Mr. Nemec. I do. Right
Yeah, me
now,
too.
yeah, right now, unless the vast majority of people stand up and say no more.
Right.
Yeah, it seems to be happening in that way because just a little background. I got back in the late '80s when I was just still a teenager. I was really into the hip hop scene and all of that, and I knew a bunch of cats from different rap groups out of New York, and knew a couple of like guys that were like 5% Nation type dudes and all that, and they were the ones that first mentioned to me the words like New World Order and this type of thing, and at 17 I was like. It immediately made sense to me because my mom was a bit of a rebel when it came to that and very politically inclined too. So a lot of things made sense to me, and I did a lot of my own research from there on, and used to go to frequent this place called the Granada Forum in Calabasas that was around in the early '90s.
Oh,
Um,
I know about that place. Yeah.
yeah, I used to go there quite a bit. I got to see Bashar there and Jordan Maxwell several times. I actually became somewhat friends with Jordan Maxwell and ended up setting up a private. It was hilarious. I got a whole bunch of very well known actors at the time and got a conference room and brought Jordan Maxwell in to reveal to them everything about the New World Order and what's coming up and everything that for them to expect in the future and where it came from in the past and all that stuff. And man, I probably had about 26 very well known actors
Oh.
in that room, and let me tell you, at the end of it, not all of them were sold, but they were all very disturbed. But it was a very interesting time. But that said, back then you couldn't even talking about these kind of things was so unbelievably taboo and so back room, smoky closet discussion, and you were looked at as so crazy. And now you have, Alex Jones interviewing congressmen, senators, major players in on the world scene, when in 19, after he broke into Bohemian Grove, no one would have touched that guy with a 10-foot pole.
Right.
So that just shows how much the floodgates have actually shattered, and the flood has already started, and it's almost going to be absolutely impossible to stop without shutting down the entire internet, because I've never in my life seen so many stories that back in the 90s and early 2000s, I would have been looked at as an absolute madman for being discussed in mainstream media now. It's
Absolutely.
So my question is this then. So do you think, and I've held this thought for some time, that with the lockdowns and with parents seeing what's going on in the schools and what's been going on in entertainment, that the normal people have kind of gotten exposed, and the mask has kind of come off, and they're like, wait a second, you're coming after my kids now. This is not cool. Do you think that is one of the big catalysts of this pushback against what us in this sphere?
Yeah, absolutely, and 100%. And I also look at it in terms of an interrupted timeline. That it looking at it in a historical context, this is purely theoretical, of course, but looking at it in a historical context, with the globalist agenda having wanted or desired Hillary Clinton to come into power at that time, there was a couple of quirky things that occurred. There was, obviously, Trump came in and he took control of the presidency at that time, and it interrupted a series of events that were already pre-orchestrated to take place, with a certain person in the control seat. And the first thing, if anybody recalls, there was that the sirens, all the sirens went off in Hawaii about the possible incoming missile attack from from North Korea, and people were hiding in sewers and all that, and all these sounds and all this stuff was going off, and there was a very quickly disappeared, but there was a report. If anybody can find it, that'd be amazing. There was a quick report about some fishermen out at sea who witnessed an explosion or something off of the coast that morning, and who knows how those things are associated or anything. But when I look at it as a timeline, if she'd come into power, we had gone right into war for World War III, then we would be in the full throes by the time COVID came out and was introduced into the situation. I look at it as, well, what if she had won? We'd already be in war. Then all of our boys would be off across the world at sea in battle. The population would have none of its boys here at home. Then they would put these other things into place. Then the COVID thing would happen. Then everybody would be locked in. The boys would be off at sea. And then this next thing would happen. And then this agenda would be put into place. And then the kids would be under this. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So the disruption, that 4-year disruption, they're still going by what the plan has always been, to do this then, to do this next, to do this next. But now every time they're doing it, they're hitting obstacles and all kinds of booby traps, because they didn't have the cover of the Third World War that was supposed to have been set off under that administration.
Sure.
At that time.
Gotcha.
Do you think
that's theory? That's purely theoretical.
Yeah.
It makes sense though.
But when I look at the time, I'm like, thank God, because if all of this was happening and something like that was going on simultaneously, we would have no way to be doing what we're doing right now. These discussions wouldn't even be possible to
Sure.
do.
Sure. Yeah.
There'd be nobody to have them. So
I'm curious though. Do you think Do you think that possibly because the plan is still going forward and hitting these stumbling blocks, as you say, that possibly it's because the plan was so rigid and they didn't expect anything to go wrong, and therefore they've been unable to adapt to new circumstances?
They
Yes,
panicked.
I think, yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think that and having done enough of my own research, and it's also a rise and fall of civilizations. You know, it's a game that's been being played since the dawn of man. You know, and it happened in Babylon, especially, is a great example of absolute power corrupts absolutely, and how sick and demented the temple became. And the temple back then, all the temples, they weren't just places, houses of worship. These were also banking institutions, and this is where the center of all of the commerce took place, and all of the trade. It was the stock market, it was the bank, it was the church, it was also the brothel, you know, and it was the place for you know, of sacrifice, whether it be sacrifice of humans or sacrifice of, you know, animals, depending on who was in charge at the time. You know what I'm saying? So the fall of that, you know, of that power, it just shows that at a certain point the people can't take it anymore. And I don't think that many, I mean, I know there's orchestrations behind it all, but at a certain point the oppression becomes so great. Ancient Egypt was the same. They had a legal system that was absolutely, you think our legal system is complex? Theirs was bananas. You could get in trouble for anything. And they didn't, it wasn't that they had slavery back then. They had indentured servitude. You had to work your crimes off to the state and all of that, and your family did. So if you got a real bad crime, like you stole something from, you know, from a high priest or something like that, you might get sent off to go work your life away in the gold mines, but your family would then have to work off the debt to the state by doing whatever they wanted, or, you know, by, you know, so you can see how that over time, a corrupt legal system would end up having the entire nation state working for them in servitude, in a type of slavery, you know, due to a corrupt legal system that's designed to ensnare and catch you in a, you know, in some type of illegal act, like we're seeing today.
I think you just best described North Korea, because that's what North Korea practices.
Whereas Egypt is
that's
not
true.
insane.
Yeah, that's true though. But I think we're also witnessing that here in the States with creditors and debtors.
Oh yeah,
and using your tower reference, it's almost like a few elites are trying to play God and looking at the populace as their serfs.
Yes, and you know, and I equate this going back again to the ancient times, especially of Egypt, and they tried to hang on to it in ancient Rome with the idea of the Caesar, you know, being this sort of you know, man God, you know, deified man God on earth, but they had lost their, you know, the fall of Egypt. I think what people or not, I'm not going to say what people don't realize or anything like that, but back then, magic tricks that we go and pay money to go see in a theater and stuff, back then were used by the high priesthood to baffle and confuse and astonish the laymen, who weren't allowed to learn, weren't allowed to read, weren't allowed to write. You know, you're talking about a population, the base population, that's just working the fields and living regular life. You know, it's similar to how in the Middle Ages they wouldn't let anybody read anything. You weren't allowed to read. I mean, you know, it just you couldn't even own a Bible until King James did his you know, I don't know what you would call it, the Reformation. I'm not so adept at a lot of the subjects I'm talking about. I'm just interested in them.
Mm-hmm.
But that said, you know, the high priests and the pharaohs, they had the people actually believing that they were deified, they were magical beings, that they were, you know, and their statues they had in the different temples. And again, the different temples represented, you know, different kinds of banking situations and all of that. So in you know, in ancient Rome, you'd have the Temple of Apollo or Athena or this or that or whatever. In Greece or whatever, each one of those would have had their own banking, you know, situation happening with it, their own kind of diversifying of what their interests were and what their investments were. Some were more for merchants, some were, so you can see like Poseidon, you know, oh, the Bank of Poseidon, duh, it's for merchants and sailors and this, that, and the other. And so, you know, when you rip the mystery away from it, were they really worshiping Poseidon, or was just that the name brand of their bank? You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, Levi Acrid. Thank you very much for the. Oh wait, no, I'm going to do this mature and smart and not flustered because it's an ongoing joke that I get flustered whenever people super chat.
This
Thank
is
you
not
for,
a joke; it's truth.
it's
Yeah.
the truth. Thank you for the $20 super chat. My YouTube channel is monetized, so people can actually super chat me and embarrass me, and thank you for that. But though I'll just say, the lockdowns woke me up. I knew nothing about politics. I didn't get involved. I didn't even know Phil Murphy when everything, the governor of New Jersey, started the lockdowns. I didn't even know he was a Democrat. I knew nothing about it. I just knew I hated Phil Murphy because of the lockdown. And that's what woke me up to everything going on in politics and everything, and made me realize, just like, I started listening to Alex Jones, among others, because it opened my eyes to a lot of things and made me appreciate America because, I mean, if it weren't for the Daily Wire, their mandates would have gone through. And made me realize that we have the tools, at least right now, to at least try to fight back.
Right. Well, that was and you're right. The Daily Wire was instrumental in preventing certain mandates from happening. The thing that a lot of people, especially today in America, the reason that they use certain words like mandates, for example, right? A mandate is just a decree. And
Right.
in the United States, constitutionally, a mandate is not a law, nor does it have any legal backing.
Yep.
It's basically just somebody who's in an office saying, hey, you got to do what I say, without any real power to enforce that. And that was something that a lot of people didn't understand at the time. And so people were going along with these things because they figured that a mandate was equal to a law. It's not.
Right. And that's what I had to explain to some folks in my work. I work in a bar. When the mask mandates and stuff came down here in my state, and people say, well, you have to do it. I said, no, you don't. And they said, well, it's the law. I said, it's not a law.
Mm-hmm.
It's
if it was, like taking the medieval times example, if a king or a magistrate or a local lord or whatever made a decree or a mandate, right? Yeah, at that time he had the legal backing, which,
correct.
In his case was usually military power. But he had the legal backing to enforce that law, so people had to go along with that. But that's not how our country is set up or how it works.
Then why did my employer force me to wear gloves at one point and a mask?
Because he caved to the pressure.
Correct.
It was.
But that's all it ever was pressure.
Mm-hmm.
They made us wear gloves. It was ridiculous. They were more concerned about making sure everybody was wearing gloves and using the security camera to make sure everyone was wearing gloves than theft. Thousands of dollars would walk out of the store. That's okay. But if you're not wearing gloves, that you get a talking to. So dumb.
Because not wearing the gloves would incur a fine or something that would probably cost more than the retail merchandise leaving the store.
Right, and that's going back to Mr. Nemec's point about indentured servitude. I mean, that's basically what we're looking at. Is our forms of indentured servitude have changed a little bit. Now they indenture your bank account.
Yeah, well, we're not far off, really. Actually, in reality, because once the Federal Reserve Act privatized the printing of currency, and then they had to way to guarantee being able to pay back the loans, and so you get something called a birth certificate, which was really only used for on the stock exchange for exchanging cattle, because the amount of birth certificates you could take to the New York Stock Exchange for the amount of cattle you had back in Oklahoma or Wyoming or wherever you were, you can't bring all the cattle to the stock exchange to sell them. What you bring is their birth certificates, which are that states their value, and that becomes chattel paper. So before the birth certificate was introduced as a type of requirement, people used to record the names of births and deaths in family Bibles or with family attorneys or whatever. It wasn't something that was set up legally. And then you have the Social Security number, which is a straw man account that once you agree to take benefits from the federal government, you've agreed to be a taxable entity, and you end up with this corporate identity called a straw man. It's your all capital letters name that's on all of your identity and all of everything else. And then this also boils down to all the states as well. It's like, we end up really not owning anything, because if you don't pay your property taxes, what happens? Your property is taken away. If you drive without a license, your car gets taken away. Why do I need a license if I know how to drive a car and I'm an adult? You know what I'm saying? Dogs, a dog needs a license? Why does a human? So all of these different things are entrapments, and it's all legalities. It goes into the Uniform Commercial Code, which is sort of the foundation of our entire legal system, and which is commodities exchanges and things like that. And humans are the commodity. We are the commodity. So we are in that kind of indentured servitude, financial slave system. For sure. There's no doubt about it.
No, you want creepy? So I got my license suspended for not driving. So basically, I had a car registered in my name because the brake stopped working. I stopped using it because we were eventually going to tow it, but it took my family a while to tow it. So when I went to try and get my license renewed, they're like, your license has been suspended for 2 years, because they didn't even tell me. For 2 years, my license was suspended. And they're like, yeah, because you were driving without insurance. It's like, wait a minute. You assumed I was driving because I had a car registered in my name, but no insurance, because why was I going to pay for insurance for a car I wasn't using? So that's how insane it is. It's like, I got my driver's license suspended for driving without insurance, without driving. And they didn't even tell me for 2 years. And I couldn't even that's
well, because the state has become a third party to all of our contractual agreements with other people, and broken contractual agreements, and that includes moral and ethical agreements that we have within society. If somebody comes and breaks into your house and causes damage to you, then and the state steps in and they do all the punishment and all of that. But what is the person actually learning? Have they actually had to come to your house, fix what they damaged? Have they had to clean up the glass for you? Have they had to apologize to you? Have they had to actually go through the process of what, like a little kid does when he gets in trouble for doing something? They have to go through the process of accepting the fact that they were wrong, apologizing for it, and trying to do better.
No. You understand? In New Jersey, if somebody's injured breaking into your home, they can sue you. In New Jersey, if somebody tries to break into my home and they trip on a
New Jersey.
That's not just Jersey.
California.
Yeah, that happened in California too. A guy was breaking into some shop in California through the roof and fell through and broke his ribs and an arm or something like that. Ended up suing the shop owner for injuring himself when it was
one.
Yeah, and there was another case in Colorado about 20 years ago where a man broke into it was in Aspen or Breckenridge or one of the ski resort areas.
Yeah.
He was breaking into a nice home, and he cat burglar type up on the second story. He fell through the roof, broke his leg, and sued the owner for like $2.6 million successfully in Colorado 20 years ago.
Colorado, what a shame. So it used to be considered such a Wild West place.
Yeah, sued him, I think, specifically for not having his house up to code.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and he won. He did. I think actually that's been a big part of our problem as a nation, is that we're overly litigious. We're way too quick.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
To bring the courts in.
And that's good. Going back to the ancient Egyptian point and all that, is that back then they were deified. And so in that sense, if they can dumb down people enough, and then you have the transhumanist type of agenda on top of that, which is a whole nother story, the merging of humans with technology and the future and all of this jazz. But that said, if you can dumb people down enough, you can already see how people even reacted to the Beatles, for instance. You know, the Beatles got off an airplane and people were losing their absolute minds, wetting themselves on the tarmac, you know, with excitement. You know, and these are just people that they just love their music. You know, can you imagine what it was like for the people who saw the Pharaoh? You know what I'm saying? Or it's kind of like how when people see the Pope, you know, who's really the Pope is sort of like, you know, the Tsar in disguise, the Caesar in disguise, you know, in a sense. But it's that glorifying aspect that that this upper echelon just can't get enough of. That's part of what the ego exists on.
It's like the God complex. Like they draw the crowd. Yeah.
Total God. And if they can dumb us down enough, we'll believe that they're gods.
Yeah.
Well, as the solitary Egyptian here, I expect people to start wetting their pants when I appear.
You don't really want that.
Well, if
I don't.
You shows at an old folks home, you can guarantee you'll get results.
Right. But yeah, you know, like looking at the transhumanism agenda, for example, for a second, I don't recall any time that he's outright stated I am a transhumanist, but I do believe that Klaus Schwab has exhibited some tendencies towards that. And for those of you who are unaware of what that is, it is basically a movement to extend human life beyond its natural span with artificial means. You know, you're talking like everything sci-fi, you know, from cybernetics to android bodies to, you know, depositing your mind in a virtual reality, you know, this kind of thing, which
falls into simulation theory too, which is really which is fucking weird. But
what is simulation theory?
That we're all in a simulation.
And exactly what he just said is already happening. We're already in the simulation, and we just don't know it.
Okay.
You know,
yeah.
People, like the kids are now saying there's a glitch in the matrix because someone's seeing reptile people on airplanes.
Well, come on, I've been reading David Icke books since the '90s, man. I've been hip to this reptilian agenda for ages. Come on now.
Yeah. It's finally happening. What we've been waiting for all these years.
Like, oh, what's up, Slee Stack? What's happening? Give me a pound.
It always reminds me of that miniseries from the 80s. Maybe it was the late 70s. V.
Oh
yeah,
yes.
There's a set designer on V.
Nice.
Yeah, he's a production designer. He went on to be a production designer, but he was like assistant art director on Goonies and was art director on The Abyss and production designer on Terminator 2 and The Saint and Patriot Games, The Shadow Twister, a whole bunch of films.
Nice.
Incredible history.
Yeah, but I think the setup of that show was kind of what we're seeing. A lot of people who are starting to believe that this sort of thing is happening. Like there are you know, reptilian people wearing human masks, walking around and I don't know, manipulating events, I suppose. I don't know if I buy that.
I wrote my own pilot for a TV series, you know, based on the reptilian agenda. That it never got sold. I pitched it to Sci-Fi Channel, but they didn't pick it up. But it was very, very deep. I mean, I went way down the rabbit hole on the whole entire thing, and it's a fascinating it's a fascinating theory. I mean, you know, wild stuff. But then there's also the kind of this interdimensional kind of idea where the being we because we're vibrating in a certain kind of density in this field, this energy field, that we see things for what we expect them to be until something else is vibrating out on a different wavelength that comes into our field of view, you know, on where we're vibrating at. I obviously don't know all the exact technical jargon to explain the concept, but that said is that, you know, let's say if we're entering this age of Aquarius and this dawning of a new era when some kind of enlightenment is supposed to occur, and that there's this force of darkness that's attempting to stop people from waking up out of this slumber they've been in for thousands of years, and this in this kind of universal cycle of sleeping and awakening that occurs, that's talked about in the Vedas and all of that. And I think that if we're entering into that kind of state of awakening, then the people, if that, and this goes into the New Age movement and Blavatsky and Alice Bailey and the Theosophical Society, and what I'm talking about is nothing new in terms of the New Age. It's just the old New Agers back then, didn't. There was a sliver of them who saw America as this new Atlantis, as this opportunity to make the world this beautiful, better, incredible new place as everybody comes to an awakening, because America was the first spell that was cast enough to be able to keep the evil away. So it's when I talk about spell cast, it goes into magic again, that any kind of document, any kind of contract, anything like that, all of these are spells. This is all the work of magic. Because if you can pass a law that says it's illegal for you to cross this street in the middle of the two intersections, and you walk halfway down the street and there's no cars coming, but yet you look over and you realize, shoot, I can't cross this, it's illegal, and you keep going to the next intersection to cross legally, but yet there's no cars around, no one would get hurt doing it, you can totally get away with it, well, you're under the spell. You've now proven that spells can be cast. You know what I'm saying? And so the same thing
great
goes
way to
with
look at that. Yeah.
The Declaration of Independence was a spell of freedom, and the Declaration itself was a shield for the people, and all these other spells are being cast at it, trying to break it down and to rip it apart. But we've all gone into agreement that this magic spell is the way, is our protection. And until they can break that agreement that we have, until we can break that contract, until they can break that spell, they'll have no control or power over us. So
it brings the question, question authority, and you always question why. Why do I have to look both? I mean, yes, I can look both ways to make sure no car is going to come and hit me, but why do I have to wait for a light to turn green for me to give me permission to cross that street? Or do I have to cross that walkway? Why can't I just go in the middle of the street?
Yeah, if it's perfectly safe, of course. I mean, I'm not talking about going out and like dodging cars, having a train dodge.
Yeah, don't play the real life of game of Frogger.
If you're a grown person and you're of sound and sane mind, and you walk up and it says don't walk, and there's no cars coming, and there's nothing there, and there's absolutely no problem, no one's going to get hurt, and you cross the street. All you're doing is just being human, trying to get to where you're going and not bothering anybody.
Yeah.
Period.
Well, life not hurting anyone.
Well, all of that is just so the state can just. The state has to get paid somehow. I mean, I've said for years that seatbelt laws are the stupidest laws around. Because the entire purpose of traffic laws is so I do not endanger anyone else around me. And my car is an extension of my home. And if I choose not to wear a seatbelt, the only person I am putting in danger is me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So don't find me for making a decision that only impacts me.
Yeah, it is interesting that in states where they have no helmet laws on a motorcycle, you can still get a ticket for not wearing your seatbelt.
Right.
I was thinking the exact thing. Same thing. I wear a helmet, even though it's not the law, because I choose to wear a helmet because I like my head. But no one is forcing me to do
we
it.
like your head too, even though we can't see it.
We're on nostril cam today, again.
Oh God, not again! These cameras just.
You know who doesn't like nostril cam? Hunter Biden.
Speaking of pulling the wool over the populace's eyes, or at least attempting to, you're telling me, just a little off topic here, but the single most secure and surveilled residents in the freaking country, and they can't figure out whose coke that was?
No, because they don't want anybody to know that the Hamburglar is real.
It was Grimace.
It was Grimace. Yeah, I was just saying.
And it was the Hamburglar that was over there. He was just dropping off some burgers. That's all he was doing, and and accidentally left a little baggie because he's got a lot of deliveries to make.
It was a tooth fairy, and she left some of her
Wait,
pixie dust there.
No, but I mean, no, you're right though. Like I work in a store and we were trying to verify a certain purchase went a certain way, and we just pulled up the security footage for the date and the time, and we were easily able to tell that the purchase was correct and that the customer walked out with the right thing because we thought maybe we'd given him something cheaper when it was supposed to be something more expensive.
Well, we know. Well, we can at least deduce this with just a little bit of critical thinking. If it had been somebody who was worthy of scapegoating, believe me, that video would be all over the place now. Unfortunately, whoever it is, and we can't say that we know for a fact who it is because we but whoever it is somebody very important within the system because otherwise they would have thrown Joe Schmo under the bus, Jake the janitor or Sally the makeup girl. They would have thrown them under the bus in a New York second. I'm surprised, to be honest. It actually was surprising to me that they haven't found somebody willing to scapegoat themselves and accept responsibility. And that makes me think they definitely have the video footage.
Yeah, they definitely do. And the reason that they haven't thrown like some random, Joe Schmo under the bus over this is because it's a well-known fact that the only people who bypass security stations at the White House are family.
Yeah.
Hey, adopt me into the Bidens, and I'll do it for $100 million. All right, just I'll go by Biden.
That's not how it works, Kat.
Why
That's
not?
not how it works, Kat.
They will make a decision of your life quick.
Wait. Nomi, you're right. No, Nomi, you're right. I'm a minority and a woman. It won't work.
But I'm not. Honestly, I'd say that cocaine has probably been a common theme behind White House doors at least since the Johnson administration. I mean,
surely, probably earlier than that. Yeah.
I just like how it smells.
He was definitely doing bumps. And Nixon, come on, that guy was certainly blowing rails. There's just no doubt in my mind. Now, Carter, I think, is the one who missed the boat, and I don't think that Reagan was blowing lines, but I can guarantee.
Nancy was. Nancy totally was.
Senior, his VP, he was definitely blowing rails. That's for damn sure. Whether it was or not, I can't say. But then the Clinton administration, you could be guaranteed that there was a kilo under the cushion in the Oval Office at all times.
Definitely.
What's the point of being president if you can't do anything you want?
I like how a certain news outlet tried to point the finger at Kamala Harris.
Wait, no.
Yeah. A certain major news outlet suggested that it was Kamala Harris's because the location it was found was right where she would have parked her car at.
Hey, you know what? In all honesty, that would be just as much of a reason to keep this absolutely on the DL as humanly possible, and it would be better for people to think that it was Hunter than to find out that it was actually her. So it'd be a great distraction to keep people looking in that direction, the more obvious direction, than, oh my God, can you imagine if it was the VP of the United States under any administration happening like this and this bold of a bust? Oh, it not only would be embarrassing.
It would explain a lot about the woman.
I'm kind of like, that kind of like makes my antenna go up. Let's put it that way. And when my antenna goes up, I know we're onto something.
The only question is, if it was her, was her heels up when she was doing it?
Oh, jeez.
I mean, because really the only blow that we know she's done is Willie Brown. So,
and a few other 9-inchers that she's probably keeping a secret.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Montel.
Yeah. So I guess the question. I mean, we obviously know shady shit's going on in Washington, all over Washington, not just the White House. I mean, the White House. It sounds like they're living it up and partying hard. But
puppy,
puppy. Oh, Buster, come on, girl, where are you? Oh, puppy is cute.
Okay, I beat it.
But I guess overall, like the World Economic Forum, as led by Klaus Schwab, and I have theories about like what the food chain is like, with certain members of the whole shebang there. But basically the deal with the Great Reset is that a group of quote unquote businessmen are attempting to
Bankers.
place themselves in a position of governance over the totality of us, despite being unelected, despite being an international conglomerate, based in Germany, obviously, but and that strikes me as a problem because they've got figures in all the pies, though.
Yeah, I just look at them as all frontmen though, because who's behind it is the banksters, is the old aristocratic banking families that have been up to these shenanigans for thousands of years. You know what I'm saying? They cherish their bloodlines and they follow their bloodlines, back to too many great ruling families and dynasties, dating back into biblical and pre-biblical times. So I would say that these frontmen that they're using are always great tools and assets, because if anything does go wrong, then just like they always have done, and every single time in history, their names have very rarely, if ever, been revealed in the rise and fall of civilizations. And
Sure, that's a
nobody
great
really
point.
questions, okay, in the rise and fall of these civilizations, what was going on behind the scenes with the banking? Because that's the key factor in all of it. Babylon's fall had a lot to do with a run on the bank and all of that, and because they had an open banking system that relied on wheat as their commodity, and they would exchange in precious metals, obviously with Egypt, but Egypt had a closed monetary system based on gold, precious metals, that kind of thing, and in Babylon at one point they had these kind of little clay bread things. They were like, and it had 4 little pieces you could break off, and people could spend them around town basically, and they were stamped so that they couldn't be counterfeited and all of that. But there was a big problem with counterfeiting even back then. These things were being counterfeited and all that, and people were exchanging. There was a run on the wheat, and people were like panicking, and they wanted to get their wheat, and they realized, oh, they've been lying to us all along. There's hardly any wheat there at all, so it's the same thing that's going on now. We have a warehouse full of wheat that isn't really there, meaning we have a fiat currency that's based on a petrodollar that doesn't exist anymore because the petrodollar is dead, and there's no gold or silver, because I think thankfully Nixon took us off the gold standard, because then if we were still on the gold standard, the Federal Reserve Bank would have access to that gold immediately upon default. Now that we're not on the gold standard, they don't have, as far as I can tell, they don't have access to any gold reserves that we would have. Congress would have to agree to give them that gold, is my understanding of it. So I think that was a horrifying thing that he did, but at the same time, it might have been a trick that he played on the Fed Reserve to keep them from being able to steal the gold when shit hit the fan. So that's one theory. I found that very interesting. But going back to the Schwab thing, these are the ones. These are the puppets who get to be, the pharaoh for a day. You know what I mean? It's the high priest behind the scene, the temple priests that run the show, but they always have a puppet, who's out there on stage.
Well, and I think that's been very convenient for them over the years. Aside from their names never being revealed and all that, that doesn't just allow them to get away with things. It also allows them to point at people like us, for example, who are merely peons discussing these things as conspiracy theorists, for example.
Well, yeah.
Although to be fair, I am a bit of a conspiracy theorist. I will say that. But
and just
factualist.
Hey, conspiracies are true now. So everyone, by the way, here she is.
Oh, what a schnookle.
You realize that cat's head is almost as big as yours, right?
Yeah, she's actually a very, very big cat. She's actually a very big cat. She's unusually big. All right.
With what I do with YouTube, the entertainment and the pop culture world, we're being told how we should view what is good by these institutional investors, the estate streets, the BlackRocks of the world. And when we push back against it, we're called conspiracy theorists or haters or whatever name you want to throw at us. But we're just kind of doing we're just asking questions and finding the faults in their logic. And it's like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. You say this is good, but it's not good based on numbers and just on data. And I get called, I'm a hate monger because I don't like Disney now.
Skepticism is not allowed anymore. I mean, it's when I was young and I first just stumbled upon the idea that skepticism was an actual philosophy that people base their entire thinking on. Like I just thought being skeptical was something, and then when I was in sometime in high school, read about that, the skeptics and everything. And I'm not like I don't know everything about any of this stuff. I just know little bits about different things that I find interesting. And when I realized, that's you can base your entire philosophy on being skeptical. That's totally that's my gig. That's absolutely my jam. And so I kind of coined myself a skeptic at a very young age, and always would want to either find the proof myself to settle that question that I have inside about what is true, what is not true about whatever subject it is. And like you said, I think that today, if you're even skeptical about something, if you even dare to go, I don't know if I really want that inside of me, because it really hasn't been long enough since it's been released into the public. And can we give it a few years and then I'll make my decision? People are like, no.
Right.
It is a trip. So I learned, now I can see that it's opening up a bit and the conversations are starting to be had. And I think it's great,
Yeah. Well, I think you're dead on there though.
With RFK's just his pounding and pounding the drums of listen to the truth, listen to the facts, read these, test studies and all of this. And eventually enough people will start getting wind of this.
The rest will follow.
And you know what? That's a house of cards. Oh my Lord. That is something that once if that all gets to be revealed as scandalous as it appears to be, oh my Lord, that is going to you want to talk about a reason to riot.
Yes.
But peacefully, though.
No, I know.
I know.
No, but I mean,
imagine how there's going to be an amount of fear. I mean, Dan Bongino, whose show I catch from time to time, and he's very open about his skepticism now and his his fear now of what is to come, because of the experimental medication.
because he had to take it. I remember I've watched Dan Bongino. He's like he regrets taking it now, but he felt at the time he needed to. Which I get it. I mean, I've said one of the reasons why I make YouTube content is because people expect me to fall in line in a certain direction. Most people are like, I follow Geeks and Gamers, and they're like, well, JRB's a Trump supporter, and it's like, you guys didn't notice my cap. Most people don't expect that from someone like me, so I don't fall in line at all with what they expect.
Yeah, well, that's
I'm sorry, Sam.
no worries, man. When you think about, obviously there were a lot of red flags coming up to where we are now, lots and lots of red flags, but a lot of them were very subtle. I think the first real major one that woke a lot of people up, got a lot of people, questioning things, for lack of a better term, and that leads right into this, is when we started hearing people parrot, trust the science. The science, don't question the science. And people were waking up and they were just like, wait a minute, isn't science asking questions?
No. Science isn't debatable anymore.
Yeah.
No,
Did you get the memo?
Sam, I know people who are the opposite, that like literally put the fingers in their ears and don't want to hear it. It's like,
we all know people who are like that.
Who pushed the mandates and still believe the mandates were right. And I'm looking at them like, are you insane?
Yeah,
Do you
we
not
all know
what's going
people who
on?
are like that, and throughout every regime, throughout history, there have always been people who have turned a blind eye to what was actually going on right in front of them, and there always will be. You know, it's part of the human condition. It's part of living on this earth with so many others. You know,
And yeah, and it takes. I think it takes. Are you raising your hand, or is that?
Yes, I am.
Oh,
Yes,
got
I
it.
am.
Oh, cool.
So
Cool.
I was just
Oh, you're
wondering,
Idiot.
but
Ow.
but is there a danger of people who, and I know folks, I deal with folks all the time who have basically become zealots only on the far right, and they call themselves I'm a MAGA American, and it's to point to where if Trump says it, it is gospel. It is from the word of God, and
Sure.
I mean it's just as dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely. Any kind of blind idealism is dangerous.
Though what's interesting is at one point when Trump did talk of the vax, people were actually booing him. His own supporters were booing him. So while there are people who are blind to it, more of them were likely, a lot of them are also likely to be like, wait a minute. Whereas on the left, they're more likely to be the clapping seals who go, I'm going to put my fingers in my ears. I mean, the only frustrating thing is to hear stuff coming out that I've been saying for years. Because I've been listening to Dan Bongino for years. And he got booted off of YouTube because of the masks. Years
Well, but Kat, there are just as many. There were just as many clapping seals, not for Trump, that there are on the progressive left. Just as many, absolutely. I tell folks that I tell folks that it was Trump who started the vaccine. It was Trump that started Operation to Warp Speed, and they forget history. They forget a few years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only saving grace that he has is there's enough video clips of him promoting alternative, alternative possibilities of treatment, alternative treatments other than the vaccine, and was really, to me, was leaving it open to the people to decide. Even though Project Warp Speed did seem to put that out faster, but I don't know. If I put myself in his shoes, which obviously I would never do, but just for game's sake, what would anybody do? You have the entire, planet, the ruling class of the entire planet coming down your throat, and you're one of the only people on the entire planet that's not trying to play that game full bore, and pushing back as much as possible. But I mean, I don't know, dude. That was a huge assault on the entire planet from the
Chinese.
I don't even, when you look at all of the attachments to it all,
Do we need the
it looks like there was a little bit of a mix of some people here, some people there, all in cahoots together.
Oh, I've got a friend of mine who thinks that the Ayatollah of Iran is behind everything.
Oh, well, that would be interesting. I don't think that's possible. That's sort of like blaming a
because my cat is behind everything.
Right?
Yeah. No, he's I mean, he's got his reasoning and all that. And while I admit that a little bit of it does sound plausible, I don't agree that in fact
but he was
in charge of it.
The Ayatollah Khomeini was installed by the CIA as well.
Right.
I mean, he was kept safe in Iraq, during the 70s after he was ousted because everybody knew this guy was not the right dude for the job. And then they over the 70s, they work and finally get a military coup and bring him back in from his safe haven in Iraq, only to go to war with Saddam Hussein, who's another CIA plant in Iraq. So it's like, I mean, it's mind boggling. So yeah, I think that if he were to be blamed, you'd have to keep looking behind the next door and the next door and the next door, and you realize, oh my God, you're right back in the same hallowed halls of Washington D.C. with, the same folks who are investigating it. It's like looking through a telescope so far through the universe, you see the back of your own head.
No, Zenny, we know the truth because the real winner of the 2020 election was my cat.
I voted for
that. Yeah, see, the problem is everyone cheated in 2020, and now
I voted for the other cat. I don't know what to tell you.
I actually
Oh,
I actually voted for
Samuel.
Kanye West.
Samuel, you hurt Buster's feelings.
I don't like the policies on Meow Mix. Just
No.
gotta say.
She's a feline supremacist. It says a genuine, real political party. And one of these days, I'm going to run for governor of New Jersey on the feline supremacist ticket.
Well, then
I hear,
remind me
I hear
never
they're
to
bunch of
support
pussies.
you. Hell!
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why my handle on here, Samuel for Prez, vote Eldritch Horror Extraordinaire 2024. I mean, I figure why choose the lesser evil? I figure if Mike Pence thinks he's got a chance, so do I. So here we are.
You're not wrong.
Lord have mercy. But it is interesting. I mean, I will say that you were talking about just the progressive left and everything, and I, with what RFK is doing, it excites me a lot because obviously you have Project Mockingbird on one side of the equation, but on the other side of the equation you have the same phenomenon that can occur with the truth. You know what I'm saying? People will hear the lies enough to start believing them they're true, and they'll parrot those lies until they come into confrontation with the actual truth and it rips apart the lie. Then they'll go and they'll repeat that. So so by reverse engineering Project Mockingbird, you can combat it with exactly what you're doing here. And then the more this happens, the more that spreads, and the more that the Mockingbird paradigm becomes useless culturally, because enough people have broken free of the spell that they can't be lied to anymore.
Sure, and that's kind of what we try to do here. We just try to have conversations. I've got a disclaimer in the description below that I put in every live stream that we do. We're, for our tech overlords, we're not experts in anything, just people talking. So fuck off. But
yeah, I gotta say too, man. I mean, that's so true. I find it very difficult at times, and that's on either side of the aisle too. I don't want to throw anybody really too far under the bus, because I've always believed that the left and the right wing both spread out from the same beast in the center, and fan the flames of discontent in the middle. So it's like I've always tried to see through both of them, and I think that that when we have both of these sides now parroting the same ideas, that there is a so-called deep state, which is a very new terminology that I'm not used to. We just call it called it the shadow government, or
right,
the New World Order or whatever. But deep state is a good enough descriptive for it. So but both of them now are talking about the same thing. So now you're going to have some people over here that used to be Bernie bros who are now leaning towards RFK because he's the next closest thing, and people have given up on Bernie. Now they're going to start listening and listening and listening. They're going to go, wait a second. You're saying the same thing as those guys over there, but those guys over there were lying. Wait a minute. They weren't lying. You're not lying. We've been lied to. Then you're going to start having the popcorn is going to start going off,
You mean politicians lie?
It's a prerequisite of the job, I think.
Next, you'll tell me not everything on the internet is true. Don't ruin everything.
But I thought government was here to protect us and keep us safe.
That's the key. That's right there.
Sarcasm.
Yeah, but that the fact is there have been people throughout history who have believed that very thing. Government is only ever there to serve its own needs.
Correct.
Yep. They do not generate wealth. They only consume it and spend it.
It's parasitic in nature.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
And the people who strive for power are parasitic in nature. So eventually, even if it starts out as an altruistic movement, eventually over time, if not well maintained and well regulated, with some type of checks and balances that can keep like for instance, I mean, we should be having term limits. Obviously, this is
and age limits.
It's totally insane, because people need to be coming from the private sector, working in the public sector for 4 years, and then going back to earning a living like the normal person, so that when they're going in there, they understand what it's like to earn a living, pay regular bills, have to do this, have to do that, without doing all of these backroom, shady, sneaky deals, and being able to buy stocks and do trades before anybody else can,
Yes.
Sure, and that's
or with insider information rather,
Mhm.
not although they do have that technology too, that crazy thing in Switzerland or whatever, that trading computer that they set up over there, that's like, it's like fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a second faster than all of the other computers on the planet, and so it gets so they can trade just before everybody else.
Hmm.
Yeah, well, and that's how like the congressional system was set up initially. Was you went, you got voted in, you went twice a year, you got shit done, you went back to your day jobs because they didn't get paid, and if they did, it was
Right.
like jury duty. It was a pittance because
Right.
the idea wasn't
It was a stipend.
to rule and to get rich. The idea was to serve the people, and it was a duty, and not a privilege.
Judy.
Congress
Judy.
Congress should resemble a PTA meeting once a month.
It does.
Bad
You're
coffee and
right.
nobody wants to be there.
Yes.
I know. I'm kidding.
But it's true. It makes more sense because the whole point is you're supposed to be serving the people.
Yeah, 100%.
And I
100%.
mean,
Well, that is that is how it should be. That isn't how it has been for a long time.
yeah.
I mean,
No.
I mean, in my state, the state assembly meets like once every two years. Everyone has a job. I mean, yes, they're all lawyers and doctors, and they're all well-to-do, but they're not up in Carson City all year long. They have to go back and work their real jobs and continue to be in the populace.
Well, they still had to feed their families,
Right.
So yeah, they obviously they had to go back to whatever day jobs they had. Some of them were farmers, some of them were traders, merchants,
Correct.
bankers, what have you. Whatever it was that they did, they were elected to represent their local population. So they went and they did the thing, and then they came back because they were still part of that population. That's one of the reasons that we have that rule about how a congressperson has to be a resident of the district or the region or whatever that they're actually supposed to be representing. It's one of the reasons.
Oh,
that
that's your name is AOC.
Yeah, we had a hard time with Liz Cheney out here in Wyoming because she had technically a residence here, but she was never here.
Right.
The only time she ever showed up here was when she was looking for sympathy votes.
Mm.
We never saw her in this state otherwise. Her family's got land out Jackson Hole way, but she doesn't live there. She doesn't stay there. She's got another house in, I think, Maryland or something like that, and that's where she spent almost all of her time, was there or DC. She was completely out of touch with the state.
Right.
One of
and
the
that's
problems. Oh, sorry.
well, that's why that's kind of why we put her out on her ass last year.
No, but one of the problems is the normal person can't run. I mean, yeah, they can, but they don't have a chance. So let's say for some reason I wanted to run for the governor of New Jersey, right? Well, what are my chances at all being just a retail worker at a store? I've lived in New Jersey longer than Phil Murphy has. So one of the
AOC
problems
was a
is,
bartender.
Right.
well, that's true.
She was.
Yeah,
she
but
was on
she
a
had back.
casting call and got the job.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll admit, no, well,
that's that kind of casting call.
You never know.
That
is
weird
politics.
party that was backing her. They actually did a like sort of a type of a casting call type thing with a bunch of people.
I'm just gonna mute Joker.
But I got. I'm sorry. Hey guys, it's 7:20. I got dinner here in 10 minutes.
Absolutely, man. Listen, I appreciate you making the time for us.
yes.
It's my pleasure, and I want to do it again sometime. Also,
Please.
by the way, just so all of you know, and the audience out there who is here know, Dead Man's Hand, a film that I co-wrote, is out right now for video rental and whatnot. It's a Western with Stephen Dorff, Cole Hauser, Jack Kilmer, all stars.
Okay.
And so I co-wrote it with Brian Skiba, the director. I have a small role in it, but I'm more excited about my writing in this one. So if anybody wants to just Google Dead Man's Hand, it's based on the graphic novel No Rest for the Wicked,
Mods,
which you can
Got
buy.
that.
Yeah, it's rad. So check that out, and then
Awesome.
let's catch up again, Samuel and the whole crew here and everybody.
Bye bye.
absolutely.
Have
We-
fun.
we-
It was a pleasure to meet you.
Joker.
And God bless you. I love you all.
Yeah,
Thank
we'd
you.
love to have you
Nice
back.
meeting you.
Thank you, thank
However
you.
you do that, I can never do that. Mine always looks like sort of like a weird little biscuit thing when I try to do it.
Yeah,
It's
it
not
looks
that
weird
hard.
with the tentacles too.
You
So
gotta see no.
I can't do that either.
Mine's like a muffin. It's like an overcooked muffin heart thing.
Just like do 2 C's with your thumbs out, and then
does Crit.
Once.
Okay. Love
Have
you
a
guys.
good evening.
Yep,
Bye.
thank you for coming.
Talk
Thank you for
soon.
coming.
Peace, y'all.
Cool.
I don't know how to get out of here.
There's
Click the
a
little
leave
X on the
studio
top.
button should be
Yeah.
right there.
That was fun. I
That was
I
fun.
want to
Cool.
come back
Yeah.
again.
Yep. Thank you very much to Corin Nemec for making the time to join us here for as much as he was able to. We appreciate him coming.
Yes.
As you can see, the man is clearly a little bit more knowledgeable about some of the stuff than I am, which is part of why we had him on. You may recognize him. I know some of you in the chat already have. From such things as Stargate SG-1, from The Stand, from Parker Lewis Can't Lose, and a host of other things, including a Sci-Fi Channel movie about a half man, half mosquito. Just putting that out there. I love that.
Okay,
dear
that's
God.
cool. Wait, what is it called? This half man, half
I've
mosquito?
seen it. It's got 2 titles. The one that you probably find it under is The Mosquito Man, but my favorite was Mansquito.
Cool.
Oh, that thing again. See, I tried to find that thing and I could not find.
Yeah, I think it's because it's under the other title now. But when it first aired, it was Mansquito. But yeah,
Hey,
he's
Pops.
he's been all over the internet lately, doing all kinds of good work, and I appreciate him coming. It was great to meet him, and we'd love to have him back sometime.
Definitely.
Cool, cool.
No problem, Squatch. No problem.
That's all right, Caucasian. You were
And
missed.
by the way, I did try to show as many chats as I could on the screen here while we were going along. I apologize not directly engaging with chat during that time, but we had limited time with the guy and wanted
It was
to
awesome.
get as much in there as we could. So my apologies there, guys. Yeah, Mansquito is a better title than The Mosquito Man, in my opinion.
Yes.
What you look. The Mosquito Man, I mean, that could be anything. That could be an exterminator, but Mansquito, that says exactly what it is.
Yes.
Yeah, just like
Spider-Man.
the Velocipaster.
Yeah.
That's
you
a
can't
good
mistake that
title.
for anything other than what it is. I like movies that tell you what they are in the title. That's one of the reasons that I love Snakes on a Plane. Everything you need to know about that movie is in the title. You know?
Oh boy, that's just
It's about an airplane with a bunch of snakes on it. That's all you need to know.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
dear
know.
God, as someone who flies often, thank you. I don't even want to think about that.
Oh, you should see it. It's
Oh,
hilarious.
pops, do not, don't.
Mansquito love.
You know what? Hashtag Mansquito love. Yeah.
Mansquito love.
I'm with you, Pops.
There need a sequel. Then.
Yeah, Zillage. Have you not been in the chat when I've talked about the Velocipaster? It's fantastic.
No, it's not.
It has the greatest special effects jokes I have ever seen in my life.
Oh my God. Jeez.
I still need to see it.
Yeah, you should. You
Oh,
should definitely
just
see it.
Tubi app.
It's good.
It's on the Tubi app.
Look,
Okay.
man.
Dang it, Pops. Now you started it again on someone else. Now, Jesus Christ.
JV.
Yes.
If you want to see where my allegiances in terms of bad media lie, you need to watch Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter.
That sounds awesome. That sounds so awesome.
It's fantastic. It's got JC in it. It's got vampires in it. It's got kung fu in it. It's a musical.
Does it have dinosaurs?
I don't believe there are. No.
Oh,
But there is a plot by vampires to survive the sunlight by skinning and wearing the skins of lesbians.
Oh, And now Pops again. Wow, Pops is on a roll. Jeez.
Yeah. It's one of the wildest movies I've ever seen. It's very, very badly done. It was
Shocking. Knowing
filmed,
you.
I think, on like those little camcorders you rent from like school libraries and
Wait.
shit.
Whoa! Suka says he's a cop in Run, Hide, Fight.
I guess
That's the Daily Wire movie.
Mhm.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yep, the guy gets around. He does a lot of work.
Mhm.
You know, pops up all over the place. But yes, it's about Jesus comes back before he can get on with the business of the second coming. He has to deal with the vampire problem.
Zilich, yes, that and Zilich, that is a very good question.
Yeah, what if you're a guy though? I mean,
on
what?
fire.
I want to see that.
Don't get him started, Pop, because Pops will just derail an entire stream with this stuff.
Wait, but what if you're a guy? How do you wear the skin of a lesbian?
Well, you just cut it's like wearing the skin of anything else. I mean, at that point, it's just skin.
But why lesbians?
Yeah, why lesbians?
They don't really explain that so much as that there's something about being a lesbian that has like a natural, inhibitor of UV radiation or some shit. I don't know. It doesn't matter. They're skin and lesbians, and they're
All
wearing
right.
kids.
Muggsy isn't in the chat. I will try to remember tomorrow to ask if she has any amazing powers against UV light.
How is Muggsy doing anyway?
She was earlier in my live stream because I'm her favorite.
Yes, but how is she
doing? She's cool. She's always awesome and threatening as always.
She's cool. She's cool.
Oh,
lesbian
God.
Skin deep.
Yeah.
I'm also Clue's favorite. I just want to know why lesbians, because that means
it doesn't really matter. The point is the ridiculousness of the premise. It's not it doesn't have to make sense.
Cat, Clue's accusing you of being like that guy in Silence of the Lambs. Don't act like you've never worn somebody's skin.
You never know. I could be a lizard person right now wearing this poor little Muslim woman's skin.
Would you fuck me?
But wouldn't your cat be dead? Wouldn't you have eaten your cat by now?
Goodbye, horses.
You never know. The cat could be actually a miniature baby lizard person in a cat skin, and I already ate Buster by sucking out her innards using a straw.
I would love to interview Ed Gein, but he's dead. So that's probably not going to happen. I also would love to do it over a forum like this because there's no way I'm getting in a room with a guy who makes belts out of nipples.
No, well, the key question is, did he wear the skins of lesbians?
No, he didn't wear the skins. I mean, he wore them, but he didn't like wear a whole skin or make like dresses or anything like Buffalo Bill does. You're JV. You're aware who Ed Gein is, right?
I vaguely remember. Yes,
he was
He's a serial killer.
Yeah.
In the 30s, 40s, and 50s, he was actually quite prolific. Usually hitting drifters or tourists, people nobody would miss. He never hit people who lived in his town, kind of thing.
Wasn't Psycho based off of him?
Partially. So was Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So was some of the things in the Silence of the Lambs. He inspired a lot of that crap because he used to make lampshades out of human skin and reupholster his lazy boy and shit.
Oh, he looked just like you, Joker.
Yeah, the nipple belt was a real thing, by the way. He saved up a bunch of nipples in tandem and then strung them together and made a belt.
Why go to Hot Topic and get a studded belt? You can get them when you can get a nipple belt.
Yeah, but wouldn't wearing that be a slight problem if you went out in public?
I mean, yes, because
yes.
And actually, I don't know exactly. I don't recall exactly how he was caught, but he was eventually caught. And there was something like, I don't know. There were a lot of victims. I don't remember exactly how many. I don't believe he was the single most prolific killer in American history, or serial killer in American history, but he's up there.
Wait, but now the key question is, if somebody walked into a place you're at, a business or whatever, wearing a nipple belt, will you actually say something, or will you just quickly walk away because you're not sure what you see in front of your eyes is real? I mean, when you think about it, what are the chances?
I mean, you're not wrong.
I mean, just think about it. If I we're working at work, right? And some dude walks in wearing a nipple belt. I might go up to my boss and be like, there's something off about this guy. But most people would be like, and walk as far away as fast as possible from him. Be like, that's just weird. Or maybe that's fake. No one's going to believe it's real.
And by the way, folks, I left the link for Pops in Sam's chat and my chat. So check him out. He's an amazing guy.
I gotta say, he's got a way with witty puns.
Oh, he is good. He's good.
He loves me some puns. We have somebody saying hello to Nomi.
Hi, Blair.
Blair.
Who would know that if she was looking at the screen?
I'm
Right.
paying attention. And I said, hi, Blair.
Do you guys have any follow-up thoughts to the conversation we had with Mr. Nemec?
I think it's just a little more in depth, but it all confirms everything that we kind of do in this sphere on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. And we're living in a simulation.
I'm not 100% convinced of that, but there are indications. I'll give it
No,
that.
Samuel, you're wrong. You cannot have skepticism.
All right.
You're not allowed to think on your own.
All right,
I am
I have-
right. You're wrong.
Wait. All right, put it aside. All right, I have an even more interesting theory.
I'm done, baby.
We are not in a simulation. What if we are living in the afterlife, and this is punishment for our behavior in the previous life?
I have a friend. I have a friend, somebody I've known for many, many years, who literally believes that we are already in hell, that we have
Yes.
all died, and we are in hell currently.
Yes, that's one of my theories. Think about it.
I don't want
You're
to.
living in life.
No.
I mean, just the
No.
main basic premise of life is, all right, you're born, you're going to inevitably get old, you're probably going to have some kind of health problem at some point in your life, and you're faced with the prospect of death, which is an uncertain ending. That alone makes life kind of terrifying. Add in the fact that no matter how great your life is, there's still some things that are bad and horrible about it. Even the wealthy have problems. That tells me that in a way, this is a more subtle, horrible hell than just being burned for eternity.
Wow, you must be really fun at parties and shit, Kat. Wow, I don't want to talk to you ever.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
Pop your
that's a
bubble.
trick. Lou, maybe that's a trick to make you think that you're not in hell. It's to make some things look beautiful so that you don't realize you're actually in hell. Because
Kat,
if everything was horrific,
Kat,
yes.
I've been married twice. Trust me, I know what hell is.
You should change your title to the hijabi black pill.
There you go.
Well, you guys were talking about simulations. Well,
Yeah.
if you're a religious person, I mean, this is the closest thing to a simulation by saying that you're actually in hell right now. And that maybe when we reach old age and die, we will find ourselves having survived this punishment, going to a more positive eternal reward after the fact. That this is a short-term punishment.
I think you talked to your cat.
So you're talking like a Sheol sort of purgatory situation.
Like a
Almost.
bird.
It's like, okay, we misbehaved in life, so we died, and we are now in hell. As a punishment, we are forced to relive life in hell. Okay? A horrible life, well, not horrible, but life in hell. And if we behave in this time, because we endured the punishment of hell, we get to go to heaven after. Like a purgatory.
That seems cruel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's the whole point. It's hellfire. It's
No,
meant to be cruel.
Mm.
why would I want to go hang out with a dude who deliberately put me here just to?
Oh no, well,
test
heaven doesn't necessarily mean you're hanging out with God. That's one of the great things about, I mean, in Islam, heaven can be whatever you want it to be. I remember when I was a kid, I wanted to be a
Roller
starship
coasters?
captain.
See, this
Huh?
is where there's a fundamental difference between what you're saying and a lot of
Yes,
people out
there you go.
because with
Pops, you're
the
right.
idea of hell, aside from the fire and brimstone and all the super imaginative shit there, the basic
Mm-hmm.
idea of hell is being removed from the sight and presence of God.
Mm-hmm.
We are removed from the sight and presence of God. Are we in God's presence? Do you feel God's presence?
I mean, personally, no, but I'm
Even
a
me,
polytheist who
even-
thinks all gods are assholes. So
I am a monotheist, and a very religious Muslim, obviously, but I don't feel the presence of God. I know God exists, but I don't like wake up in the morning and go, oh, I feel the presence of God. It makes me feel good.
I don't know if anyone really has, but the fact that this blue ball of rock continues to spin on its axis around a giant nuclear reactor, and I breathe a flammable gas with tons of electrical impulses that could ignite at any time. The fact that I get another day, that's God's presence, or do whatever you choose to believe.
I mean,
All right, yeah.
I have to agree with Pops here. The second part of the statement. The first part, it's like it gets that way sometimes. We go from very serious topics to
very light and
very silly and occasionally just disgusting.
Hey, at least it didn't go into the dildo direction.
Well,
or anal rail guns. It went into, are we actually in hell?
The anal rail guns was your fault. I'm still holding.
How is it my fault? All I said was the reason Kotaku got blacklisted by Nintendo was because they wrote an article about butt plugs and Animal Crossing. Yeah, you guys went beyond that.
And then somehow that got mixed up into that whole discussion about the guy who took his butt plug into the MRI with him.
Yes, I think that was Yue.
Ended up in his chest cavity.
Yes.
Yeah, but it was Kohai who found the images in the article. And
okay, then maybe it was Kohai. Somebody found an article about it, but originally all I was saying was, see, this is why Kotaku got blacklisted by Nintendo. There's actually a reason, multiple reasons. Yes,
Jenny
it's always
your fault.
Which, I mean, the Islamophobia now? Oh, wow. And the misogyny.
That's a butt plug meant another thing again. How often do you go off on that? We haven't talked about that in weeks.
No, well, I was just saying, you were saying that we go off on crazy topics. I was saying at least we weren't going on anal butt plugs and dildos. We were going on about heaven and hell.
I mean, are there any other kind of butt plugs, really?
Right, exactly.
Like, they're all anal.
I don't even want to know why anybody would want to stick something up their butt.
They like
Cat?
Some are spiked, Cat.
What?
People enjoy that.
Yes.
I don't even want to know.
You can't hate it until you try it.
No, I can hate it. I don't have to try it. I just hate it.
You'll get around to it.
I have never been set on fire, but I hate it.
Yeah, no, that's like saying that I can't hate the idea of having a man inside me because I'm not gay, but because I haven't tried it. Like it's like no, I hate the idea of getting sucked in the ass.
I'm on Nomi's side with this one.
No.
Has Nomi just revealed something about herself?
Oh my gosh, no.
Nomi, what did you just open? And Suka's not like pooping. Pooping is the other way around. That's why I'm like, why would anybody want to do the opposite?
I have friends who
it's just
tell me
gross.
this experience.
No.
I haven't tried any of that.
No.
You don't have to reveal any of that stuff at all if you don't want to. That's
I think she just did. I mean,
I will reveal that. All I'm going to say is that until yesterday, Nomi didn't know what golden shower was. So
this
is true.
I did not know what a golden shower was. Yes, so I have my innocence with me.
You have more innocence than I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to keep it like that for a while.
Yeah, wait till you find out about docking.
Oh no, I unfortunately I do know what that is.
How do you know what docking is and not what a golden shower is? Golden shower is like
I
baby
have
steps.
friends.
What the hell is docking?
No,
I don't even want to know because I don't even know what golden shower is, and I don't want to know.
There we go.
Not as bad as pegging.
When you get liquid refreshment.
No.
I had to know what a golden shower was.
No, I don't.
I had to ask.
No, I don't. No.
Well, she asked.
I did ask.
I didn't ask. I said I don't know what it is, and I don't want to know.
Shadow,
when your face meets a lemonade
hold up, guys. Hold up.
No.
Shadow, You missed the guest. I don't know why you're coming in now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shadow.
You know,
Late
and
as usual.
secondly, shut up.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Shut up,
and
Shadow.
well, Nomi and I one time had to explain to Shadow what a hot pocket was.
That's
Dutch oven.
food.
Dutch
Okay,
oven, same thing.
Now we have obviously we've gone way off the
Yeah,
rails
and
here.
I don't wanna know.
real fast. You know, you eat some poops.
No.
And you will be happy.
I
So,
like how deranged.
shall we begin the lesson?
Yeah. Go ahead,
No,
JB. Give the
no,
lesson.
no. There's some
Shit.
things I don't want to know. I didn't even know butt plugs existed until it started coming up in the media. Okay, and they're like, teachers are teaching children about butt plugs. I'm like, why would anybody do that to themselves?
$5,000 more per scene.
Docking
You're
occurs
not
when
wrong,
two
JB.
men with erect penises.
No.
In the foreskin of the-
Oh,
I'm sorry. I meant to mute. Sorry, I meant to mute.
Did you though?
I can't hear you. No.
Yeah, I meant to mute. I did.
I don't want to know. I
When-
can't.
when
I don't want to
someone
know. I don't want to
pee
know.
on you.
Is he done? Is he done? I
It's
don't
also
want to
called
know.
water sports.
In the
water
foreskin
play.
of another
Wet
man.
works.
I don't want to
And
know. What part of I don't want to know?
I'm surprised you
wanna
don't know about the golden shower stuff because they got like Trump got accused of that shit with a Russian
Right.
hooker.
Oh wait,
I got the
that's
same
when
lecture
he said he
yesterday,
peed
Kat.
on the bed.
Yeah.
Golden
Not-
shower when
not-
you pee on the bed.
When
Not
you
on
pee
the
a
bed.
person-
Not on the bed, Cat.
Why would anybody want to?
On you.
Why
On
would
you.
anybody want you to pee? That's disgusting.
Because it's a humiliation ritual. It's a fetish.
Yes.
People have a kink for that.
Yep.
Some people like being humiliated, like being stomped on, like being told they're worthless worms. It's a
Yes.
thing. Why do you
And
think
people-
dominatrixes
Stepped up.
exist?
Girls can make money off of it. A lot of money off of it.
And they do.
They do.
I've met some.
I know
I've
some.
met some. One wanted to do it on me, and I was like, hell no. It's only $70. I was like, no.
It's a shower that you're gonna have to take another shower. for.
Lou, I am so sorry.
That is disgusting.
I'm just going to apologize to Lou here. I am sorry.
That is
Got Lewis still
disgusting.
here.
That is absolutely disgusting. You know what? This is why I play video games.
We should have had
And
Lou
I-
on with Corin Nemec.
Well, isn't there a new game out that you can bang a bear?
Yes, I saw
It's
that.
the game's been
What?
coming out for a while. The news about the banging the bear thing is relatively
That's
new, and
disgusting.
I'm not 100% convinced that this isn't an elaborate troll, but it's possible because why the fuck wouldn't it be?
Well, you
Baldur's
know
Gate
what?
3.
You know what?
What?
These days it could be believable because I watched a news report last night. I thought it was a joke, and it wasn't. This woman left her boyfriend for his golden retriever. He caught her in the doggy position, getting nailed by his golden retriever. She left him for the dog. This is a true story.
Mhm. Yeah,
People who have bestiality fetishes are coming out of the woods now.
Yep.
well, that's because
Burn
they
them with
coming out of the
fire.
woods
Furries.
because they used to be in the woods.
Yeah, I know.
With all the
Burn
animals.
them with fire. Just burn them with fire.
They can't. They're
open up-
covered. The shower is protecting them from fire.
The one good
It's not
thing I will
flammable.
say about people who practice bestiality, and I don't think there's much that's good about that at all. I think a lot it's unnatural, it's
Yeah.
abhorrent. But the
Inhumane.
one positive thing out of it is that these people are clearly not breeding.
Yes.
True.
That you're not wrong.
But they're abusing animals.
Yes,
And that's
they are,
Yeah.
but they
what
aren't
they are-
birthing more zoophiles.
Right.
Yes.
No, just burn them. Burn them all with fire. Just burn
We
them
can't
all.
because it's legal, Cat. It's called
How
murder.
is it legal? That is animal
I said
abuse.
it's illegal to kill, burn people because it's considered murder.
Okay, wood chipper them.
It's
You know
How
what?
is that better than fire?
That's still murder.
That's beside the point. They are abusing
Right,
animals.
Pops? There you go, Pops. I like it.
No.
I would watch
Mm.
Cocaine Mosquito. I
I
would.
Yes,
would
you
watch-
would.
No.
watch
Did you
that
see the
in a
one on
fucking
Twitter?
heartbeat.
Cocaine Ewok?
Yeah.
Cocaine Ewok.
Murder bears?
Yeah, bless it. You know what? If you called it murder bears instead of Ewoks,
Yeah,
I
that would be
probably would
better
be
at
on
that.
board.
No. Even better.
Well,
Care
even
Bears.
if you go back and watch Return of the Jedi, you telling me those little fuckers aren't high as shit?
Right there.
Yeah.
You know?
And murder bears.
Yeah.
No. That's why it's even better. You make
Okay,
it the
just a
Care
minute.
Bears.
because just remember, at the big celebration, they're using stormtrooper
Yes.
helmets as
They eat
drums. Those had heads in those not too long ago.
And they were going to eat Han Solo and crew.
Mhm.
So that means they eat people. Yes, no, that's why it's even better since we already know the Ewoks kill people.
It gets
Care
Murder
Bears
bears,
unmasked.
Care Bears.
Yeah,
Care
I
Bears
get
unmasked.
hold up with the Return of the Jedi thing, and I believe I have waxed eloquently about this before too. But it's not just that the murder bears eat people, because they clearly do. They were going to eat our heroes, and then later with the helmets, it's obviously some of those still had heads in them. But the fact that our heroes didn't want to appear rude at a party in their honor means that they're cannibals.
Right.
Oh my God, you're right.
True story.
Mm-hmm.
They were eating and drinking right alongside those Ewoks. I bet they were eating and drinking Stormtrooper.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Hey, what were they getting? A leg or a thigh? Were they getting a thigh or a
Return of
wing?
the Jedi is much darker than people think it is.
And
Is there an extended universe book which talks about that? Because that would be awesome.
then you missed the deleted scene. You missed the deleted exactly. You missed the deleted scene where
Like Long Pig.
where you missed the deleted scene where after Luke left the funeral pyre, the murder bears came down with skewers to get some extra crispy meat off of Darth Vader.
Yeah, Strife. Nobody thinks about that. Nobody.
Yes.
It was something I have a I have a little bit of a problem where my mind goes down really, really ugly paths when I'm left alone
Does
too
it
long, and it does. So that's why this has been such a blessing for me, because I'm allowed to express that here, and it doesn't get super bad, but I also get to taint other people's, minds.
Childhoods.
Yeah.
I just realized, I hate to interrupt everything, but I'm going to be joining Tom the Rogue Attraction on his synergistically offensive Sundays, but on a Saturday. And that starts in 10 minutes. So I'm going to skip out of here.
Cheating on us.
Oh my God, no.
Whatever.
Infidelity.
Cool.
But I do want to still talk to JV after everything, because we have an inside conversation that Kat doesn't know
we
about.
do.
You know what? After the golden chow, I don't want to know.
And with new information that you revealed there, Nomi.
Oh no!
I don't want to know.
No.
Nomi,
talk
Nomi,
more.
tell me later.
What?
Tell me later.
Yeah, I haven't heard from a certain feline, so I'm not sure she's going on tonight anyway.
I will message the dudes later to see if y'all are available for another chat like this.
If we're available, wow, okay, this is getting even more interesting by the
Oh
moment.
my gosh,
No.
JV.
I don't
Nomi, since you were going to be bailing on us and cheating with Tom,
Yeah.
I see you, Tom.
Tom.
Please plug your stuff.
Okay, yeah. So now that I'm leaving and going to my next panelist lover, just kidding. I will be joining Tom the Rogue Attraction in 10 minutes to talk about the failures of Disney. What's going on currently?
Where do you start?
I know,
Yeah.
that's what we were talking about. Let's see. We are going to be talking about. Hold on, I have it. The failed holiday 4th of July at Disney that nobody wanted to go because nobody wants to be indoctrinated and just get shoved down stuff they don't want to be seen or talk about. They just want to watch fireworks and enjoy their families.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're going to be talking about. And then you can catch me on YouTube and Twitter at Know Me Without You. Do you have a plan now for everything in my life where you'll be seeing more videos coming from me?
Wow, Dexter!
Good
Holy
deal.
shit! Wow,
And the live streams on her channel. She's going to do that too.
I'll be doing live streams. So yeah, kids, it's been a real slice. It was fun hanging out with you guys and talking to Corin here, and we should do it again. But you'll see me again next Saturday with Screaming Into the Void.
Also,
and then
Friday,
I am a host
Yes.
with Samuel and Larry on
How do
Abyss
you keep
Amusement.
forgetting that?
I
How do you keep forgetting that?
I'm really bad. I'm really bad at my life.
It's starting to hurt. It's really starting to hurt.
But I've been writing down notes. I don't know.
You have to write us down.
Yes. Yes, I have to write you guys down.
Wow.
I'm a work in progress, guys.
I bet you didn't have to write Tom down.
Dude, she's known Tom longer than she's known us.
Tom was the one.
Hey,
who...
you stop it. Dude, you are your own word. Shut up.
Tom was the one who got me into YouTube and introduced me to you lovely people. So
Okay, well, Tom gets a pass then. Besides, I like Tom.
I
Something
don't
touched
know.
me.
I do like Tom, but
Nah, it's fine.
Something
It's
touched
fine.
him. It wasn't a golden shower. Cat.
I
okay,
don't.
guys, I hope you have a good weekend. Boys, I will message you all later, and I'll catch
Yes,
you guys
ma'am.
later. Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right. Thank you for being here. We'll see you next time.
Mhm.
All right.
Hey, Cat, can I ask you a question, Cat?
Yeah.
How is Warframe going?
What the fuck, Dexter Morgan?
Right.
What? What?
Well, I've been really out of the loop. Considering the fact that I'm moving and packing and doing all the stuff that I've been doing for the past couple of weeks, I've been out of the loop. How is Warframe working out for you?
I've been playing Warframe. I've been playing a lot of games in addition to Warframe. I just started playing Remnant from the Ashes, which is really, really good. I highly recommend it. And Chronos, I just started installing Chronos Before the Ashes, which is the prequel to it because Remnant 2 is coming out. I started playing Final Fantasy 16, but I got to finish a game. So I want to finish Remnant from the Ashes. I definitely, because I love that game.
Any plans
Yeah,
on
no,
playing
Warframe is
retro
not-
games?
Possibly in the future. I mean, I'm not going to say no. It's just I got to stop picking up new games and not finishing them. So I have
Gotcha.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's another
been a
one that
problem
they've
for
been
me,
telling
too.
me I need to play Uncharted. It's on my list, but like I said, I still haven't finished Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah, that's been a problem for me too. I've got a bunch of games that I started, and
Yeah.
some of them I even got very far into, and then I just kind of never really finished. So I kind of
Yeah,
feel like Diablo 4 is
I-
going to go that way.
Yes, Pops, I did see that.
No, but
Yeah, I've
that's
been experiencing that with Diablo 4 too, and I think it's because of the info I found out. When they start the new season, you have to start from scratch. So all
You
the
were
work
the
you're doing your
only
characters
person
now.
I've heard say that. I've got to be honest. I've never heard anybody else say anything about that.
No, look it up. Look it up.
I've heard it too.
I know. Like with seasonal stuff, you always have to start a new character, but it doesn't. As far as erasing your.
No, I didn't say erase it. I said they make you start over.
Yeah, you don't erase it, but
No, that's standard for
yes, that's what's
like
been
if
going on.
you're saying that they erase your current characters.
No,
and
that's
you
not
start-
what I'm. That's
Okay,
not what I'm saying.
because all seasons have always been like that.
I didn't
you
know
know,
that. This is my
yeah.
first time ever actually buying Diablo. So I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
the thing with the seasonal content, the way that works is you create a character from scratch who is only seasonal, and that character you work up to get to top level as fast as and as efficiently as possible, and then all the benefits that you accrued with that character will then be transferred to any new seasonal characters for that season, and then usually there's a set series of goals you have to complete during the season, which will give you rewards that you can't get anywhere else that will then at the end of the season transfer to your off-season characters.
Joker,
That's
I'm not interested.
that's
Joker,
Diablo 3
I'm not-
seasons were just like that too.
Joker,
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
have it
interested at all.
You don't have
Passive
to. I mean,
Exile
yeah,
is the
it's
same.
I could have put that money into. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like it's a cool game, but I could have put that. I could have put that $80 somewhere else.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. Like, I don't like the MMO shit. I was talking to Kat about this backstage earlier.
Yeah.
I don't like the MMO shit. I don't like the fact that it's so grounded in Diablo 2. I didn't like Diablo 2 that much, and I just there's a lot of like mechanic shit that I don't care for, and I don't see myself sticking it out because I finished the story. I finished the story 2 fucking weeks ago, right? And it was good. But it was only 15, 20 hours. It's not worth $80.
Monster Hunter, huh? I'm gonna have to pick. Is that it? Now? What year did that game come out?
Well, the original one.
The one that the one that you play looks pretty updated.
Yeah, the one I played came out 2 years ago. You're talking about Rise?
Is that what it's
Yeah,
called?
Monster Hunter Rise, and then with the expansion Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. Yeah, that is it's only recently come to PS4, but
Yeah.
it came out I think on the Wii 2 years ago initially. So I actually was behind
No,
the times on
I think it's on the Switch.
Switch, whatever. I
Yeah.
don't know. It's all Nintendo. I don't care. I don't play
I actually
Nintendo.
have the console for that game. Oh, I have the Switch for that. I actually have the Monster Hunter Rise Switch.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was it was on the Switch, which I mean, I had buddies who I played Monster Hunter with like throughout the series for well over a decade, and they were like, "Oh, you got to get the Switch. You got to get the Switch." And the reason I don't have a Switch, that was the only game I wanted it for, and I couldn't justify buying an entire new gaming system for one game, so I waited, and eventually, yeah, they stopped being exclusive to the Switch.
Oh, but
So. Dude, I don't know. I haven't kept up with Nintendo in a very long time. The last one that I actually had any regular access to wasn't even mine, was a 64. It was an N64. And that was just we played like Perfect Dark on that and GoldenEye and Conker's Bad Fur Day. You know? So I've been out of the Nintendo side of things for a long time. And my kids have a Wii. I've played Wii with them. So I never really got much into that. So, but yeah, it's Diablo. It seems like I don't know. I guess I have to wait and see what kind of plans they have for it down the road, because right now I am getting bored with it and I haven't even reached top tier. Yeah. So I guess there's that.
yeah, I mean, I'm up to level 15, and I can see I haven't even finished the story.
I'm a higher level than you, Cat.
Yeah, everyone's probably a higher level than me because I've been playing Remnant from the Ashes, which is really, really good.
No, Joker's level 0 because he's not playing it.
I
Okay.
haven't been playing that much, but I've got 3 characters that are over, or 4 characters that are over level 10. 2 of them are into the level 20, and then my main character is I think 57 currently, and I haven't been playing that much.
I might have to get into this Monster Hunter game. It does look fun, despite the fact that you're the one playing it.
It is and it isn't. It's got there's a long running rivalry between Capcom fans who play Monster Hunter and FromSoft fans who play things like Dark Souls or Demon Souls or Bloodborne and that kind of thing. I've played both, so I kind of get it, but fans of either one will say, "Oh, it takes real skill to play our shit," and yours just isn't. And, well, the fact is that the games are just mechanically different. They're both skill based.
Well,
You get better as you go along, and there is a steep learning curve for both of them.
well, what about Wild Heart, which I'm told is a lot like
I don't know that one.
Wild Heart. Yeah, let me write that down, Cat. Cat, I'm gonna have to stick with you about these games. I've never heard of that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that one I have
don't know that
I haven't played it yet. I have it on Xbox.
So, but yeah, well, Monster Hunter's pretty great. It's it does have some MMOE aspects, but you can play the entire thing solo. It's a bitch, but you can do it. And the parties never get any bigger than 4 people, which is nice.
Wait, can you put? Is there crossplay?
No.
All right, so then because I have it installed on my Xbox, but you're on PlayStation,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
I gotta make.
Hey, Cat. By
What
the
about?
way,
Yeah.
I don't know if you buy games through Steam, but
Yeah, I
Monster
do.
Hunter Rise is on sale right now. The highest bundle is $21. No, the
Oh,
highest
I already
bundle.
have it.
Oh,
It
you
was
already
on sale
have it.
before. Yeah, I have it on PC. And I even have it on PlayStation. Wait, PS4 or PS5? Do you have to be on the PS4?
I'm on the PS4. I
This
don't
is
Do I have
know.
to be,
no,
or
this
can
is
I
for
be on?
PC.
I don't know if you
Yeah, no,
have
I
to
also
be.
have it on I also have it on PC because it was on a ridiculous sale a while back, and I remember Samuel mentioning it, so I picked it up on PC. But then when he mentioned he was on PlayStation 4, I picked it up for the PS4. So
Yeah,
my
I
little-
don't know that. I think that you probably could get it on the PS5. I don't because I'm pretty sure that when I bought it, it was by the PS4 and PS5 versions in the one go kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know that it matters and on which system you're on there. But I don't believe that it's crossplay compatible. But I mean, I don't think that there's anything about it that would limit them from doing it. There are certain games that they can't do that with at this point, like Star Trek Online. They can never institute crossplay on that because there are too many fundamental coding differences between each platform.
That's probably why it's taking them. They've been talking about so there's cross-play in Warframe, but they've been talking for years about cross-save, and people are pissed. In fact, one of the funniest things is they announced on Twitter, they're like, yeah, you can still pick up the Pride shit, okay, until the end of the year with this code. And nearly every one of the responses, except one or two, was cross-save or vomit emoji or, yeah, I'm not interested, which was just brilliant to see. Because it was also ridiculously ugly stuff.
Yeah, I just double checked. It's not cross compatible.
By the way, Kat, and I know this is a bit of a shift. Someone told me this, and I'm thinking he's trolling. But about a month and a half ago, I was gonna go buy an Xbox, and a buddy of mine was telling me that Microsoft is going to stop making the consoles and just take the software and put it on the PC.
No. You want to know why? Because we have a whole bunch of them in store. And we've been getting more in. In fact, they released a Diablo 4 Xbox.
Right. Well,
I
think he meant after this console, they weren't going to make any more consoles. I think that's what he was saying, which doesn't make any sense to me, but
I think the only way they would stop making consoles is PlayStation stop making consoles as well. Because, I mean, technically the consoles are just computers at this point. Though, I'll just say this is really annoying. Every time they release now, you know how you used to be able to get a fancy-ass console, right? You know, the Halo Xbox looked fancy and right? You got an exclusive controller. Now, every time these companies come out with a console for their games, or like the God of War Ragnarok PlayStation 5, where's a regular PlayStation 5? It didn't even come with the exclusive God of War controller. It came with a regular controller and a digital code. What? Same with the Diablo console for Xbox. It's just a regular Xbox Series X. Nothing special with a digital code. It's so stupid. It used to be you'd get my favorite is the original PlayStation 4 for Destiny. Original Destiny. I did not get that one, but that is a beautiful console. Or the God of War for PS4 was also a beautiful console. Now they're just not doing that anymore.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I agree with Strive. I think I think that's why you'll notice they both wait for each other before they announce them. Remember when the Xbox Series X and the PS5 were coming out and they're like, how much is it going to cost? And it's like each one of them is reluctant to reveal it because they don't want theirs to be more expensive than the other. So it's like, you know, I could just see it's like PlayStation, like, well, if we say ours is going to be 500, Xbox is going to say theirs is 450. So the only way I see it is if the two of them get together and be like, yeah, we're not making consoles anymore. Because Nintendo seems to be on its own. Nintendo never will reveal their games, release their games on PC. So Nintendo will not stop making consoles. But I could see maybe one of these days, both of them agree to stop making consoles and just go for the full PC market. But not anytime soon.
Kind of to link this back to what we were discussing earlier in the show with the transhumanism agenda. What we're looking at is an eventual, I mean, especially with the disasters that's going on in Hollywood right now, like Disney's burning and all that shit.
Yeah.
Movies are on the way out. Interactive entertainment is on the rise, and sooner or later, it will replace games as we know it too. We'll be able to insert ourselves actively into film.
Let me ask you, with the way games are now, would you really want to do that?
I was going to say, well, first of all, I'll say this: the PlayStation 5 has a VR. It is not.
It's not true VR though.
Yeah, but I mean, the next step would be that, but the first step is VR. The thing is, most people. Maybe it's just me. My experience has been I come home from work. The last thing I want to do is go into VR. It's exhausting. But the other thing is.
Well, you wouldn't be going to work anymore. We're talking full-on Wall-E situation.
Well, that's true. No, but the other thing is the exact same thing that's happening in Hollywood, to a degree or another, is happening in gaming. It just hasn't hit gaming as much.
Right.
Yet.
That's what I'm saying, though, is like there will be a merger of the two mediums at some point. And yes, there will.
No, what I mean is you don't have the woke hitting gaming as much yet.
It isn't about woke or not woke. It's just about the technology at this point. Like that's all I'm talking about.
Didn't sound
Yeah.
like it.
No,
and that, and I would kind of push back on the. I mean, yes, I mean you can make a argument that Hollywood definitely has its issues, and with the House of Mouse having the market share, they're at over a third of the market. But when you got studios and companies like Universal who are taking a chunk into that because they're doing the opposite of what the mouse is up to. We're seeing that company with films, and they're going to open another theme. They're going to open another theme park, and right now they're going to delve into the merchandise world where they're going after the princess toys to do with their own line of toys. So I mean, I wouldn't count out Hollywood just yet.
Well, on top of that, gaming has one advantage that Hollywood. I mean, Hollywood, you can have cheap movies being made, but it's even easier to make cheap video games because people are more willing. I mean, one game that recently came out that a lot of people have praised was Bolt Gun, Warhammer 40K Bolt Gun. That was like a pixel knockoff Doom, but it was done well. So, yeah, the AAA companies could lose. And I mean, when those idiots came out with like, what was it, Battlefield 1, and they're like, well, our main character's an amputee woman in the middle of World War I, and they're like, that doesn't make sense. The sales suffered. Battlefield 2042, also the sales suffered. So even if all of the AAA titles were to do poorly, it's easier to have indie games even more than ever. Whereas though, to what Joker Voice was saying, I was listening to Spawnwave, and he said that the Switch in the last couple of months has been selling like crazy. Like he gets the numbers from Japan. So not even worldwide, but he's like, the numbers have never been as high. They're like, we may not get another Switch for a while because this thing is selling so well that Nintendo doesn't have a reason to, like, it's selling better than than it ever has been.
Yeah. I guess what I'm saying is that there's going to come a time, and I think we're witnessing the beginning of it now, where the mediums of our entertainment are going to change. You know, we're not always going to be watching stuff on a flat screen. We're not always going to be like playing stuff with a controller, that kind of thing. And by the way, Kat, as far as true VR goes, it was invented in the late 80s. It didn't do well in tests and whatnot, and they scrapped it because it was too expensive to maintain. But it does exist. You know, what we've gotten since then is not true VR. It's AR, augmented reality, as
No,
opposed to
because
virtual.
augmented reality is where you have it plays on what's already present. What about the Oculus Quest 2? And they're coming out with an Oculus Quest 3. The thing is,
Again, not true VR. It's not 100% totally immersive. Wait, when I talk about true VR, I'm talking about they're plugging your brain into this shit.
you know what? I don't see it happening. At least not as long as my generation and maybe the generation after it are still around.
No, I'm telling you, it did happen in the 80s.
Yeah, no, but I don't
expensive to mass
see.
produce.
Yeah, but I don't see people as a whole embracing it.
Oh,
Well-
really? Because they embraced masks real fucking quick.
Well,
That's
and
one thing.
I
But
don't
this-
think it is. I
and-
think it's the same
and-
mentality. It's the
and
you
Elon
want
Musk-
this, you need this, you must do this, and people will fucking comply.
and Elon Musk has not. There you go. That Neuralink thing, the chip in your head.
Yep.
um,
You know, and it's just that's the way I see things going down the road for from here on out, at least in first world countries.
the only reason I would also just push back on it is one of the things that I've said this before. When it comes to, for example, the Bud Light thing, where everyone's like, "Oh, it's because they don't like what's being done to kids." You talk to your average person, it isn't about. It's about they're against the adults too. Like and I'm in New Jersey, so it's like, yeah, we look at. We're forgetting your average person who's off the internet, who's just a adorable person who, that's why I think a lot of his class, most average people have not embraced the big new thing, which is the trans thing. So do I see them embracing Neuralink? The way I see them going, yeah, I don't know. This is too much for me.
They embrace the jab. They embrace the masks.
But not everyone. And they put enough fear into them over that.
No, but enough people did. Enough people did to cause immense strife in this country.
But they made them scared not to. What are you going to tell people? That you're going to die if you don't get the Neuralink? It's one
Fear
thing
is a powerful motivator.
Yes, but what are you going to get them afraid of if they don't have it?
Fear.
Being left behind.
Exactly.
Fear of loss.
Fear of loss.
Yes, Kat. I'm not saying it will affect you that way. I'm saying that many, many people in this world, it absolutely will. Look at TikTok. How many random ass people are on TikTok doing their thing because they don't want to be left behind by the current fucking trend? It will happen.
Not as I think only one person I work with who no longer I work with is on TikTok.
I'm not talking about like specific people that we specifically know. I'm talking about look at the whole picture.
Mm-hmm.
But who's the majority of the people on TikTok? That's why I said as long as my generation, your generation, and maybe the generation after, they're not going to embrace it because. Who's on TikTok?
My generation is on the verge of passing it off to the younger generation.
Yeah, that's why our generation.
We're almost done.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying our generations are almost done. Once our generation is done, they're the ones who are going to be like, you know what? They're the ones who are going to be like.
What do you think they're going to do with us? Stick us in a home? I don't think it's going to be that nice.
Well, they're going to shoot us.
And Kat, we already have a form of that. Anyway, we just hold it in our hands. So what's the difference between here to here?
The surgery. The fact that you need to go under the knife. How many people are going to be voluntarily happy to go under the knife?
How many people voluntarily took a jab and then a booster and then
it's
a booster
not
and then a booster?
Surgery. There's a difference between brain surgery.
It's a medical
procedure. But it's
procedure.
still brain surgery. Most people are more likely to be turned off because of just the general idea that brain surgery. Yeah, is brain surgery safer now? Most people don't know that. Brain surgery.
You keep thinking that the vast majority of your average Joes are smart enough to look at it like that.
Correct.
Most people are stupid. I'm stupid. Most of us will go along to get along. Most of us will do things like that. I mean, take that jab, for example, just to not be ostracized. People will comply. They will always comply. And in this case, the best way to do it, actually, I would say, is to sell it to a few. Have them start telling everybody how great it is and how neat it is. And as you go along, as you promote this thing, slowly change the wording of the promotion to, you must have this, you will have this, comply. It won't take long, but it'll go from oh, hey, look at this neat new thing to get this thing or you're fucked. And that's how it'll go. And that's how it always goes.
All it will take.
And people fall for it every fucking time throughout history.
All it will take is the right celeb doing a TikTok, coming out after having it done, and just do the weeks. Oh my God, it's so great. It's so this. It's so that. And
why? We go on about how these are the useful idiots, and it's going to lead to a mass extinction event. Now we're going to put everyone in VR. So why? What is the ultimate goal then? First of all, I thought the whole goal was to cut down the population. So
what do you think that's going to do? They're so busy. Look, there's a there's a kind of fungus, and I'm not talking about cordyceps. That's a different thing. But there is a kind of fungus that what it does is it introduces powerful hallucinogens that cause states of euphoria in the things that it's devouring, usually animal life, right? Usually insect life. The X-Files did an episode on this like years and years ago where there was a giant version of this eating people, and it was putting them into, they were hallucinating. They were having this whole great life while they were being slowly devoured. That's what we're talking about down the road. You get them distracted, you get them happy, you get them high on life, right? And they think they're off having wonderful adventures. Meantime, you're sapping their body for the nutrients that they produce.
Well, there's two other things I would say. First off, most of the rest of the planet is not going to go along with this. Most of the rest of the planet didn't. Based on the fact, well, first of all, the jab is no longer being pushed anymore. It's no longer that popular. So,
No, but it was worldwide, and it did enough damage to enough
Not
people that no
again.
longer matters.
Again, how many people embraced the jab? There are a lot of
A lot.
countries.
A
A lot of countries also did not. In fact, they pointed out that a lot of southern Africa did not have as bad of cases because they didn't embrace the jab.
Sure, but almost all of China got it because they were fucking told to.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that's China.
That's still
So-
2.1 billion people. That's a quarter of the population of the planet, Kat.
Right.
And that's also a quarter of the population are communists. I'm saying like South America. how many
Canada, the United States, the UK, the Western Europe.
Yes, but there's still going to be people in countries where they're not going to. First off, they won't have the technology. Flat out, they won't have the technology.
They
want
won't
me
have
to
the
believe-
technology to fight back against it either.
No,
Kat.
but
Exactly.
they don't even. I go to Egypt and I barely have internet. And you want me to
Okay.
believe that they're going to go to Egypt and they're going to bring this to Egypt?
Yes.
No,
No,
because
they're
you won't
not.
matter. You won't
Yeah,
matter.
because that's why I'm saying a lot of the countries, the jab, did they really care if they got the jab or not? No, they did not. They didn't care. In fact, most of these countries, you don't know whether they did or not because they don't care. The countries that matter are Canada and Europe, and mostly Western Europe.
And yet, those are the ones that embraced it.
Yes, but then they no longer have embraced it. They have turned away from it.
It's a little too late for those who already got it.
But there was enough backlash, and there were enough people.
Yes,
that
people are
still-
angry about it now.
Yeah,
When it's
but
done,
there's
when
still
it's too
millions
late.
who didn't take it.
I'm not arguing that, Kat. I know. I'm one of the ones who fucking didn't.
I'm just saying, it just seems a little far-fetched that you're going to have everybody going and willing to get plugged in and get brain surgery to have a Neuralink placed in their neck. Yes,
Okay,
I get it.
again-
There's a difference between the jab, which is just an injection, and brain surgery.
Again, Kat,
Okay.
all that's going to take, you're talking about a microchip.
Right.
All
Okay.
that takes is a big fucking needle. It's not just like they're not carving open your skull to do it. They're just
This is
going
right
to
here.
puncture it.
It's
It'll be
this
like taking
easy.
you know what spinal
Yeah.
tap is like? It'll be like
Yes.
that, but through your skull. Quick, easy, simple. Probably done by machines so that there's no margin for error as to placement. Would be my
And
guess. And no,
it'll-
it's not going to be mandatory at first. It will be
No.
100% cosmetic and elective and voluntary at first. But the more people get involved in this shit, the less voluntary it will get. Mark my fucking words.
And I'm telling you, why don't we have a mandatory jab right now? Because somebody spoke up. Yes, a lot of people took it, but in the end, as long as we keep to the Constitution, okay?
Cat.
Yeah. Yes.
You can be tracked at any time, and you volunteer to have one of
Yes,
these.
but again, it's not brain surgery and having something
It-
inputted in your brain. On top of that, having a cell phone, I can stop having a cell phone any day. It'll be harder, but you can get rid of a cell phone. Or you can go with a basic flip phone. You don't have to. There's no law saying you have to have a cell phone.
but
And the
but-
jab was not
but it-
mandated.
it has but my thing about the cell phone is, you're right. You don't need it, but try going anywhere in the world. It's almost necessary now.
No, I go most of the time, up until recently, until the last trip when I went to Egypt, the moment I landed in the airport in Egypt, I had no phone. I had my phone with me. I
Okay,
had no
You're
internet.
talking about one isolated place.
I'm telling you, if I wanted to, and this is me, I barely pay attention to my phone as it is.
Well,
Okay.
that we know.
So no, and the difference is it's not the law. You're saying that this will be eventually become mandated. Well,
Mhm.
again, the jab, they tried to mandate it, and that's one of the things that makes
No,
America.
they did mandate it, Kat.
They
That's
did
the thing I said
mandate
earlier.
And they
Mandates
fought
are not
against it, and now it's no
mandates are
longer-
not laws.
Yes,
Right.
and they stopped.
This will become law.
This will not because it will be fought against. The moment they try to make it law,
It's
we
always
now
fought
have
against.
a precedent saying you can't force medical procedures on people.
In this country, we are not the only country that
Yes.
needs to be worried here. Sooner or later, the rest of the Western nations are already falling for crap like this, and they outnumber us.
Well, again, yes, and
The
a
only
lot
thing,
of
the
also
only
is-
saving grace is the fact that we are armed to the motherfucking teeth.
yes,
Teeth.
but we still, when it came down to it, when they tried to make the vaccine a law, it was stopped. As long
Sure.
as long as America and we push back and we keep to the Constitution.
Sure, it was stopped. Did that stop
Yes.
people from getting fired? Did that stop people from getting
No,
cut
but
off from
It didn't.
family and friends? Did that stop people's
Nope.
whole
But it
lives being
wasn't-
disrupted to the point of maybe not even being worth living?
But at the end of the day,
That's
it
how they
was
do
not-
it.
But at the end of the day, it wasn't law. And now that we have this precedent set that you cannot force the moment somebody comes in and says you need this, they will point to, that's one of the great things about the Supreme Court ruling. It was a precedent set. It now says if the government comes in and says you have to have a medical procedure, and this is what that would be,
Not at first. It won't be.
it is
It'll
a
be-
medical procedure.
Okay, but it will. But what Sam is saying is it will start as elective
Yes.
and it will start as elective. It'll start as cosmetic,
Yes.
but eventually it will grow and grow and grow to where they won't have to mandate it. The fear of loss of not being connected will be enough.
But there's still the ability. Like I said, if I wanted to, I don't need my cell phone. I could give my house phone number to my boss. I
And
don't need
Kat-
my cell phone.
But
In
Kat,
fact, my boss knows that I'm generally hard to reach on my cell phone. So
But Kat-
it's still not law required.
but
There's a
Kat,
difference.
but Kat, you are also not the masses of sheep.
Yes, but the difference between the masses of sheep, what I'm saying is it's not going to be law. You'll have masses of sheep doing dumb shit like getting their breasts chopped off and hormones taken, and then they think it's a good idea to take kids to drag, right? You have masses of idiots doing a whole bunch of dumb shit, but it's not law. And we have a precedent set where they cannot make this law. And as long as it's not law, you will still have people
You're
who will
also
say no.
banking on the longevity of this country and this Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
I think once it gets to that point, once this becomes like a Western world thing, once we're talking about WEF takeover, like we started at the beginning of this thing, once we get to that point, the United States and its laws will no longer matter. Will no longer exist for all intents and purposes. We'll just be a collection of people who live on this continent.
And Kat, you are also forgetting something else. A president can override the Constitution. It's called executive order.
No, I'm not saying Constitution. Supreme Court law.
They can overrule.
They cannot overrule. No.
Yes, the president can. An executive order. An executive order.
And it will go back into the courts, and it will not be allowed to.
Cat's
You
right
guys
here
have
that can
the-
still be challenged by the Supreme Court. There's a reason that it's set up that way, so that the president cannot just sign shit into law willy-nilly.
Even the executive orders, you cannot sign anything into existence. But when it comes down to it, your attitude is one of we're doomed, so don't do anything. The key thing is we need to keep going with we still have a constitution. We still have America. Your attitude is one of we're all doomed anyway. This is going to happen anyway.
I'm not
But
saying
if
you shouldn't fight back. I absolutely believe that it's better to die on your feet than serve
but
on your
you're
knees.
saying
Kat,
that this
you
is going to
know
become
that
a
about
law,
me.
and I'm
That
saying
is
that
not what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I am
but you're
saying that
saying this
the
is going to
world may
eventually become
be
law.
fucked, and there's nothing we can fucking do about it.
No.
That's what I said.
No, I'm saying we still have our constitution. And you know what? If one of the things that I learned from the vaccine mandates is the fact that, yes, at the end of the day, there's still a chance that we still have our constitution. The moment they start turning over the constitution, then I would be worried. But I mean, like I said, it set a precedent by the Supreme Court that you can't force medical procedures on people. That's it. That's a precedent set. And
in this
this
country, we are not the only
yes,
country
in this
dealing with
country.
shit.
And you know what? To hell with the rest of the world.
I
in
agree.
this
To hell
country-
with the Cat.
Yes.
Stop. Agreed. To hell with the rest of the world. But I'm telling you that there will come a time when the rest of the world who has signed on for this shit, who has gotten all their brains linked up to fucking Starlink through this Neuralink thing, who have basically become the Borg, wipe us the fuck out.
Correct.
And by then,
It may not
four
happen
of
in our
us will be in
lifetimes,
our
but it
grave.
will
Yeah,
happen.
by then we'll be in our graves. What does it matter at that point? You know what? At this point, like I said, you know what?
It
with
matters
the whole,
to my children. It matters
yes,
to my
it does.
grandchildren.
But they need to be the ones to fight for it. because eventually we're going to die. That's why my whole attitude is, you want to trans your kids, for example. You want to do all this crazy stuff. I hate to bring, if you're going to be a lazy idiot who's your whole school system consists of gender ideology, yeah, I'm probably going to have to work until my deathbed because no one of these spoiled little brats is going to do more than an 8-hour shift. But eventually, all 4 of us are going to die, and we're going to leave the world to them. And they're going to have to either step up or get crushed. And it's on them. We can do what we can to prepare them for it. But at the end of the day, if they want Neuralink shoved into their brains and they become a part of a collective, we warn them, it's on them. All we can do is with the time we have at this point. I mean, because what else are we going to do? I mean, if these idiot kids want to have their genitals chopped off and they want to have an education of a 5th grader when they're in college, they can't read and they're not putting in effort, there's nothing we can do. So we're going to put forward what we can, but we're going to die and we're going to leave this country to them, and they're going to, I mean, I don't know, but at the end of the day,
A couple of things here.
yeah,
Number one, I think that was it Zillage who said this is an agree to disagree situation. I think he's right. Also, the Nuremberg Code also forbids shit like the MK Ultra program. That doesn't stop anybody.
MK Ultra was illegal, though. Yes,
Yes,
it was done.
but it still happened.
It happened.
It's still happening.
It happened, but it was illegal. There's a difference between it happening and it being legal.
And that's what I'm getting at, Kat, is the kind of people who perpetrate these things do not operate in the realms of legal and illegal. They do not care about those distinctions. Those distinctions do not matter to them.
In some realms, it doesn't. But for example, when I go to my job now, if they had mandated the vaccine and made it law, I would have had, it's either I have a job or and take the vaccine or not. The fact that it is now illegal to do that. So in official circles, it makes a difference.
Official circles don't have power. That's what I'm getting at.
And
all the real power is unofficial. That's what we started talking about at the beginning of this.
No, but if I want to get a job, okay, as long as it's not mandated law, okay, they can do it illegally, secretly, whatever they want. But on the surface, normal people, it's not going to affect them. MK Ultra, how many people did it affect that were on the average street? Yes, it was illegal. But that's the thing. That's the difference. It wasn't legal. It wasn't allowed. They did something illegal.
And again, Kat, the people who are doing these things don't care that it's illegal. Legality means nothing to these people. That's just something to keep us, the plebs, in fucking line.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was saying earlier, like Mr. Nemec was saying earlier in the stream about casting the spells, about like, you don't cross the street even though there's nobody coming because it's illegal to do that. All that is to keep us in fucking line.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it's ever been. But it's not about them. It's not about stopping them from doing whatever they're fucking going to do. It's about keeping us from doing what they don't want us to do.
And let's look at Hollywood.
Which is crossing the street.
Let's look at Hollywood, right? You have all the big businesses, the big ones, going along with the woke message and losing money, right? You still have independent films, the small films, which are the ones of the people fighting back, doing well. So as long as we have that, we still have a chance. It's like with the video games and having independent video games. It's the fact that nobody expected the Daily Wire, a tiny organization, to sue Joe Biden and win. That's the thing. That's what gives Americans hope. The fact that, yes, there's a lot of overwhelming stuff out there. Bud Light. Who looked at the Bud Light boycott and said, yeah, this is going to go on for 3 months. And yet it's still going on. I think at the end of the day, there's a lot of average Americans who aren't in line with this.
Okay, I'll say this. It was kind of my point when I was talking with Mr. Nemec here. When the lockdowns happened, and parents saw what was being taught to their kids in schools, that's when the mask came off. This is when we started seeing this pushback on everything. People have woken up. You are correct, Kat. in that. But that's not. But eventually that pendulum will eventually shift back the other way, and I don't. And it's they're gonna feel like, okay, we've won. Okay, now we're gonna rest back again, and it's just gonna start all over again.
But people still, how many people would have expected to see mainstream media saying that the jab doesn't work? And yet we have them coming out and admitting it. So
Yeah,
even
now,
though, yes, but it still says that even if you're in the dark, eventually it will come out.
Yeah, but for how
2 years?
But for how many people is that too little, too late?
It's still people who refuse.
How many people?
A lot of people, but a lot of people also refused. And
Right.
a lot of people know what's going on. So now even the people who it's too late for know what's going on. So it's put even more mistrust. Why is it that MSNBC, CBS, CNN have so little viewership? Because people are waking up.
Okay. And
Well, it comes down to trust. It always comes down to trust.
Right.
And the fact is that you're right, Kat. People have lost trust. People have lost trust in each other as well. You
Yeah.
know, like it's like all of us have lost trust in each other. There's a reason that people are at each other's throats all the damn time. Over things that they disagree about. And I mean, you and I are friends, and we're going to remain friends after this. It's just an argument. But there are plenty of people, and you and I both know of examples in our own lives where people stop talking to each other, for example, over disagreements, which I personally think is a little petty. But take the jab, for example, right? There were enough medical professionals who said this is safe, this is effective, you got to do this thing, that now every time I go to see one, I got to question every fucking needle they bring out,
sure
what's
a
in
lot
that
of
needle,
people do.
and whether or not because it doesn't matter, because I'm sure, I know that there are good doctors who didn't push this shit. I know there
Correct.
are good doctors who really want to just heal people out there, but the problem is I can't trust which ones
Yes.
they are
The jab woke
ever
people up.
again.
And that's why I brought up the whole transgenderism thing. Because we have medical professionals now saying, yes, chop the balls off your little boy. But a lot of people don't believe that now. And so even though you have a bunch of crazies online screaming about it, the majority of the average American don't believe that. So while it looks like, yes, everyone supports it being done to kids, the vast majority of people not only don't support it being done to kids, don't even support it being done to adults. That's one of the great things. They probably thought that the jab would remain hidden. But instead, it's waking people up to, I can't trust. I mean, medical professionals are saying, you know what? Don't prevent your kid. The truth is, they have found that 90% of kids, if left alone, will just grow up normally, which means, just leave them alone. And yet you have medical professionals saying, put your kid on hormone, but people don't believe that anymore. So I think.
Zillage is
yes.
begging
Now
for
that
lighter topic, lighter subject matter.
Right.
No, I do agree with anime. We have a problem where people will vote blue no matter what, and they don't have any idea.
Or red.
Well, there
no
are
matter
guys
what.
there were people who will vote red no matter what, even if they're voting for fucking idiots too. It happens on
Right.
both sides.
Yeah, but I've argued there's a very good reason for that, because there's some policies that that a blue person will vote for regardless. Okay, if you vote blue, okay, you are voting for the mutilation of children, period. It doesn't matter how good or bad the person is, they will automatically, by default, vote Democrat. They will vote with their party.
Right.
I may disagree with the Republicans in some things, but there's one thing I know. The Republicans are not going to vote for the mutilation of children. So when you decide on who you
sure
vote
about
for,
that?
You sure about that?
Yeah, most Republicans are against
Most.
Yes. So at the very least,
So you weren't saying that there are some.
the vast majority, as of right now, as far as I know,
Okay.
most Republicans do not support this. Now, maybe there's an exception here to there, but you're more likely to get somebody on the red side who's not going to support this. So that's why you have to decide. You know that someone who's blue is going to vote on certain policies regardless if they're blue. They're going to vote supporting Ukraine, period. There are some Republicans not, but at least you have a higher chance of getting a Republican who isn't going to support Yes, but you know what? There's a difference between most and all. Every Democrat is going to support certain policies. There are Muslim Democrats supporting things that are 100% haram.
Yeah.
That's 100. It's like, what's wrong with you? Ilhan Omar is a bitch and an idiot, and she's going to face judgment in front of God for some of the garbage policies she has voted for that are 100% against her religion. I don't care if you are voting against the majority. You are going to face God one day, and you're going to have to be like, well, why did you say, yeah, I support abortion till 9 months, and I support mutilating children? You vote for what you believe. No, yes. But a Democrat will vote on certain things regardless. Majority of Republicans will vote a certain way, but that is a better chance than voting for someone who, yes, will automatically. I mean, my state is now one of those safe sanctuaries. We have 9-month abortion in my state. Most of the people in New Jersey don't even know that.
I mean, California's got it so that the infant can die up to 7 days after birth, and there will be no inquest.
Yeah.
Or
Correct.
the coroner can choose not to perform an inquest, which is
Disgusting.
basically legalizing
Murder.
post-birth abortion. Yeah, which
Right.
is yeah.
Murder. There's no such thing as post-birth abortion.
There's
It's
no
murder.
such thing as pre-birth abortion either. It's all murder. But
Yes.
I do try not to get too definite on that because I know how that goes with the internet. But the fact is, yeah, it's all murder. It's all we're killing our own kind, our own species, our own children, our own futures.
But you know what? I would rather they do that. It at least it's done before they're born than what they're doing to our children as kids. The horrible things we are doing to kids is disgusting. It's horrible. Just looking at these images from Pride events, it's almost better that these poor kids had never been than what these people are doing. It's just abhorrent, and they are praising it. But no, I get it. I get that there are bad Republicans, but you have to pick, and the one more likely to do things, you have to pick the one that's more likely to do with the things that you believe in, because they're going to. That's one of the things that pisses
In
me
the
off about
system that we currently have, yes, that
Yes.
is correct.
and that's one of the things that pisses me off, because if I vote for somebody if there's a Democrat leading New Jersey, your job is not to vote Democrat. Your job is to go to New Jersey and see what the New Jerseyans want. Not what your party wants, what New Jerseyans want. Instead, you vote based on your party. And that's what made me realize that as much as I don't like the idea of, voting based on party, you need to look at the one that you find fits your views most closely, the majority of them, and vote that way. Because voting third party, yes, I get it. A lot of people want to vote Libertarian. Isn't going to do anything except either take away from one or the other.
I don't vote, so
This is
That's
here's
a bad
I'm
thing
gonna
too.
push back a little bit on that, Kat, because it does do something as long as it's concentrated at the local level. The local level is where people
Yeah.
need to be focusing on, not the national level, because all the shit that happens on the national level started locally. All of it does. So you need to focus on the local shit. If you want third-party people in, it's a hell of a lot easier to get them onto a city council seat than it is into a Senate seat.
Yes.
correct.
But no, because in New Jersey, the Republicans nearly won. It was a couple thousand votes. And that's what made me realize that you have to vote.
No, I don't
That
have
it
to
may-
vote.
I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to, but it makes a difference. If you're going to talk and be unhappy with policies, but then you don't vote, then it's like saying I didn't win the lottery. Well, I didn't buy a ticket.
Okay. I'm going to push that. I'm going to push again. I'm going to push against that, and I do every single time. The First Amendment does not come with a caveat of if I voted or not. I have not voted in a national election since 1992, and I gripe about both parties. I have a right.
Yes,
to gripe.
but yes, you have the right to gripe, but at the same time, isn't that like saying? I mean, I get it.
No.
Yes, you have the right to gripe, but I mean, it kind of is like saying I didn't win the lottery, but I never bought
No,
a
it's
ticket.
not.
You're not actually trying to make a difference either.
I'm gonna hold up a second, guys. I want to address this real quick. Catriona Rogers Murray, and I apologize if I mispronounced your name. I am not good at that, like a lot of talking heads on YouTube. says, until the GOP disavows the MAGA people and stops focusing on trying to legislate morality, I will never vote for them. A couple of things here. Number one, both sides try to legislate morality.
Correct.
Right? They just have different moralities. And number two, that's entirely right. I have no issue with that. You can vote for who you want to vote for. That's one of the great things about this country.
Yeah.
Don't let anybody tell you who to vote for. Don't let me do it. Don't let anybody else do it. So I don't have an issue with that part of the statement. But as far as the disavow the MAGA people, the MAGA thing is a reaction to how the GOP has been fucking useless.
They've been cowards.
First of all,
They're cowards.
and secondly, as soon as the DNC disavows Marx, I'll be right there with you.
Right.
So, but otherwise, yeah, no, you're absolutely correct. That's absolutely right. Vote for whoever you want, or don't vote at all. I have no issue with that either way. But I'm going to disagree with you on MAGA being the be all and end all of all things bad in this country, and all sides try to legislate morality.
Which is why you
All
need
of
to
them.
decide based on, again, that's why. But no, what was it? That's what they want you to think. Voting is rigged. You have to still vote.
No, I
If
don't.
you tell yourself, no, I'm not talking to you. As I said, if you don't want to vote, you don't have to vote. But then don't be unhappy if policies you don't want come into effect. I mean, at the very least, did I vote for Biden? No, I did not. But you know what? Still, my number is down as someone who did not vote for Biden. Did I vote for Phil Murphy? We nearly got him out of office. And it put Murphy on his toes. Murphy was going to mandate the vaccine. He was going to try to. But the moment he saw that he lost by less than 1%, but that he won by less than 1%, he realized that was very unpopular. So it does, even if it still makes a difference. So
okay, I need to I need to address this one statement that Anime made. Abstaining does not mean that I side with the part that wins. My voice is saying I'm not playing this two party game because you are both corrupt and you have no intention of helping me out.
Then
None.
try running. And
What are you talking
changing it.
about, Joker? I'm not corrupt, and I would
Yeah, you
help you if I could.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
are.
So then what? Run for local office.
I don't want to run.
Because you're saying
I-
that both
well,
are
I
wanna
corrupt,
be left-
so find
I
something.
want to be left alone. I want to
Joker,
be left
walk.
alone.
Then
If you don't
vote-
want to run, if you don't want to run for local office, then walk.
Oh, geez, shut up, Larry.
I'm going to take
Oh,
hold
God,
up,
not this.
Catriona. I'm going to take a
Oh,
wild
God,
guess
not
and
this.
say that you were probably either too young or not born yet when 9/11 happened. Right? Trust me, they're not comparable.
No, it's
They,
not comparable.
or Pearl Harbor, which got us into World War II, or
And it was not an insurrection.
yeah, no.
Second of all, yeah, hold on. Let me say this is since not that I'm making not that I'm better than you guys, but I'll say this as somebody who served in the military. Yeah, January 6th by definition was not an insurrection.
And it was not
you
worse
need
than
to-
9/11.
Hold on. You need to stop listening to the news. You need to stop listening to Democrats because they love to use buzzwords and things, and they hope that people like you either will just take their word for it and don't really understand what it is they're saying, and they're hoping that you're too lazy to actually do your own research. But no, it was not an insurrection.
And it doesn't require any research to look at January 6th and 9/11, where idiots rammed 2 planes into the Twin Towers and go, oh my God, January 6th was worse. I'm sorry, but that is just
yeah,
That
where a
is
bunch,
outright
bunch of
lie.
idiots
that
went
is
on a
just
walking tour of the
idiotic on the
Capitol.
level of, whoa.
It's like idiots were involved in both events, but the J6 crap is nowhere. It's blown way out of proportion.
Yeah.
If it had been in fact a right wing, ultra mega insurrection, Americans are armed to the motherfucking teeth.
Yeah.
They know.
And the only reason why
There'd be no debate about
hold
it.
on. And the only reason why they even use that stupid smear is because they keep trying to tie it to Donald Trump because they want to blame him for it, and they know damn well that he's not responsible for it,
Yeah.
and there is evidence that backs that up.
Yeah. On
So,
top of that, there are still people in
Mammoth.
prison who haven't, they were just talking about it on Tim Pool, a guy who hasn't even been charged right? He's been in prison for 2 years. He hasn't
And
even been
and that's
charged.
a
He
violation.
doesn't,
And
yeah, he
that's a
doesn't even.
constitutional violation.
Yeah, he doesn't even know when his trial is scheduled. They told him he could have a plea deal where he has to denounce Trump and blame Trump for it. And he's like, I'm not going to do that. That's not what happened. So you have people who have been in prison for a lot of them, which we saw from the footage brought out by Tucker Carlson, shows they were let into the building. The majority of the people were not violent, and yet they're sitting. And someone was saying they're going to arrest more people. That they were saying that they're going to arrest even more people for this.
Yeah, they're just gonna go around. They're just gonna go around kidnapping innocent people
Yes.
because they want to blame Donald Trump.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know, all that aside, really, I mean, honestly, if you really look at who the MAGA people are accused of being, like what they're accused of being, you honestly believe for a second if any part of that was true and they decided to stage an insurrection, there wouldn't have been thousands of dead in the streets of Washington that day?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
regardless of who won that fight.
yeah. Why don't you ask Nancy Pelosi why she made sure there wasn't adequate police there? Because she was in charge of the Capitol Police.
Wait, thank you, Thug McCoy,
Ask
for the
ask
$2.
the ask the mayor why she refused assistance from Donald Trump's assistance in trying to get the National Guard over there before it happened.
On top of that, isn't it interesting that who are they? MAGA. MAGA are always what? White supremacist, alt-right Christian. I consider
If you
myself
ask,
MAGA.
if you ask their enemies, you know,
Yeah.
here's the
So
thing, like all of this stuff, like you got extremes on both sides, right? We know that's a fact. You've also got, you know, splinter groups like MAGA, which was a splinter from the Tea Party and all of that. And then you've got, you know, like your leftists, your Marxists, who are identifiably different than your classical liberals on the left, right? There are different ideologies at play here, and all of them will tell you the most awful things about their enemies, you know, about the ones on the other side of the fence. I mean, hell, when the Soviets were taking over Berlin in concert with the Americans, the Germans were being told that the Soviets were going to fucking eat them.
Yeah.
You know, so it's that's always the case. Anytime you've got two opposing ideologies, there are going to be things spread about them that will serve to dehumanize them in the eyes of the opposition. It's just the way of things. It's the way of propaganda and the way of human nature. So,
wait, sorry, I got another $10 from Clue,
did.
who as always, as I've said, I'm his favorite. Ha ha. Be jealous. He even if I weren't, he would have found a way. I didn't know he were monetized. Yes, I am monetized. And I just want to say this: because I got pissed when I found out Geeks and Gamers, they tried to demonetize them. The only reason I monetize is because of Jeremy. I hate the things people say about Jeremy. I really do. These are people who have never interacted with him, and he has been very nice to me. The times I have interacted with him, he's a gentleman. He's the one who pushed me. When I was like, it doesn't matter, he's the one who told me how to get monetized. So I hate it when they call him a racist and a misogynist. They have never interacted with him. I've interacted with him, and you know what? Like I said, I would go to a meetup and not be worried because I know that I don't have to worry because Jeremy and Ryan would be there.
Anime. Yeah, a lot of bad people did a lot of bad shit. You know, what I wasn't referring to that. Obviously, that happened. There are accounts of that happening. Even some of the Soviets wrote down about that happening. You know, but you know,
we're talking about them having.
I'm talking about the propaganda.
About them having a
about.
meal. Yeah, the propaganda about them having a meal.
And that's the problem with propaganda, is because sometimes it's mixed in with a little bit of truth, and it becomes real difficult to tell what's true and what isn't. You know, so I just say, you know, don't.
Somebody had a golden shower from a prostitute. Next thing you know, they're drinking blood.
Yeah,
something
never
like that.
Had a golden shower. That whole thing with come on. You know what? You know what's interesting? And
she's just saying that because she learned what that is today.
The thing is, you know what's funny is when 2016, I was 100% against Trump. And for years, I was against him. And then in the end, I actually started to listen to some of the things being said about him and finding out the truth. And now, you know what? If my dream ticket is a Trump DeSantis ticket.
Hey, hey, Kat,
but
that
Kat,
that lady I told you about, the one that cheated on her boyfriend with his dog, she got a golden retriever shower.
Oh,
Ew.
wow, Zinni.
Oh,
wow, there we go. That's,
Zenny.
What?
I just,
Cindy.
I got nothing.
Hey,
wow,
I'm
okay.
hearing things are good and
I mean, yep. I'm just gonna take that off the screen now and move
Just
along.
gonna let that one go.
So yeah, this has been a pretty good show, and for
my
those of you,
apologies if I was
Kat,
argumentative, but
No,
I gotta
not at
like
all.
poke holes at things and
Kat, I was screaming right back. We're fine.
okay, because I like to poke holes and try and see how.
You're the kind of person who would poke at a jellyfish on the beach, aren't you? Just to see what it would do.
Yes, I have done that actually.
I knew it. I knew it.
I told you. I already admitted. I'm one of those people. I'm with the guys. The moment you guys have the red button sitting there saying "Don't push it," I'd immediately push it.
Right,
course.
right. No, this has been good, and I think I don't know that we necessarily came to a consensus on everything, which is fine.
Fine.
We're just here to discuss things. We're not here necessarily to solve the world's problems. So maybe somebody listening will get an idea that will help everybody. Maybe not. Maybe we're just pissing in the wind here. I'm fine with that either way.
Just not on somebody.
Ew. Though
I
it
mean-
does give me. I think about things. So keep in mind this. Everything you guys have
think
said.
about that, Kat?
Not
You think
that.
about
No, I'm not going to think about that. That's disgusting. But I will think. I think like when I talk with Mugsykins or if I argue with Shadow, I always think about things and mull over it. So everything you guys have said is making me go back and think things over. So just yes.
I don't think that's on the ballot.
Nope.
Sorry, that's not how that works.
That's not how that works.
Like, unless you're on the jury, in which case you were compromising your position there and shouldn't be on that jury.
Right.
And that actually won't stop him from becoming president. He will be
Yeah, right.
president. He will be president in solitary confinement.
Yeah,
So,
but I mean, it's absolutely vote against him if that's where your heart is. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
But you can't vote for him to go to prison because that's not how the justice system or the voting system works.
yes, innocent until proven guilty.
I mean, I guess you could write that down and like do a write-in on the ballot that you'd be like the only one, and even if there were a bunch of them, that's again not how that goes. So.
But then honestly, you just said that 9/11, the January 6th was worse than 9/11. So that means I wouldn't be surprised if you voted for Biden over Trump.
I don't. No. That's not.
All right, sorry. I'm
correct.
sorry. I'm wrong.
She
I'm
didn't
wrong.
say that January 6th was worse. Actually,
No, you're right.
She
It says
corrected
the
that in chat.
worst. Yeah. No, sorry about that. No, but
That was
I
me
just-
making assumptions.
Yeah, you're right, and I shouldn't be making assumptions either. No, you're right. I did. No. You're right.
Yeah, I know.
But,
We just corrected it.
Yeah, but if you're gonna vote for Biden over Trump, good luck. I'm not saying who to vote for. It's just
You kind of are.
no, I'm saying you can vote for him. Go right ahead. But
I don't think it'd be a good place to place your vote. But again, that's
Yeah.
just me. That's
same.
I think that you should vote for who you think is the best person for the job, and I think you should always do that. I also think
Yes.
that you should spend more time personally focusing on the local level than on the bigger stuff, because the local shit is where it all happens at.
Right. So when I say that I have not voted in a national election since '92, I mean for president. I've not voted since '92. Local stuff, yes, I do.
Yeah, I'm very involved locally. I'm involved with my council. I'm involved with the PTA. I'm involved with all that stuff. I know my state congressman. Personally. Like, I'm in Wyoming. Wyoming ain't that big. Yeah,
No.
most of us do know each other.
Wait, but there's only one thing that I just don't understand. So according to what's her name, the Jen Psaki, right? Republicans are paying
Psaki.
Muslims, right, to be against certain issues. Well, I've been a Republican registered for decades, and so has my father. Where's my money? I thought that was being paid.
As a Democrat, you ain't getting nothing.
Yeah,
No,
But
that doesn't matter.
doesn't matter.
You're the wrong kind of Muslim.
Right.
It's like
I'm an actual practicing
you're not
Muslim.
one
That's
of
the
their
problem.
Muslims.
Yeah, I'm
You know?
actually practicing. That's a problem.
And, I'm tempted to use a slur here, so I'm gonna instead say, why don't we go around the horn and
There you go.
and the stream a little bit? And I was just in good fun, but yeah, it's like that'll definitely come back to bite me in the ass, so I'm not gonna do it. JV, where can the good people find you at?
Well, tomorrow at noon Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time, I will be on with Wookie Be Bad. We'll be talking about the week in pop culture, and then Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I've got my regular shows that I drop. Then Monday and Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, with Legion Talk. Monday we'll be reviewing Game of Thrones, season 4, episode 6, and then Friday night's Royal Rumble. Talking about that week in pop culture. Thursday with Roman of the Empire, talking about the current Marvel disaster, that being Secret Invasion, and 1 week left for my fundraiser, raising funds for the Stuttering Foundation of America, right here.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Very, very cool.
Nice. By the way,
So-
the link for that is in the description below on my channel. I assume it's on yours too, JV.
Yes. Yeah, so that's me. It's a busy guy. If I'm not doing my normal 9 to 5 or midnight to 8 work, I'm here on YouTube somewhere. So
Cool. Can
Good
I
deal,
just
good
cut in
deal.
and say one thing? As someone who's lived in a state where Chris Christie was the governor, you don't want to vote for Chris Christie. Dear God, you do not want to vote for Chris Christie. All I remember.
It's telling them how to vote.
mhm.
Okay, I'm just saying, as someone who actually experienced life under him, I'm not saying how to vote. You can vote for whoever you want, but I can tell you, as someone who had to endure Chris Christie, and most of you guys outside of New Jersey did not. People have forgotten Chris Christie, but in New Jersey, we have not forgotten Chris Christie.
I think the thing that you're forgetting here, Kat, is, and the reason that most people have forgotten Chris Christie is that ultimately nobody cares about New Jersey.
Thank you. At least we
I
can.
care
You know
about
what?
you, and you happen to be in New Jersey, but that does
Right.
not mean that I have to care
No.
about New Jersey.
Finally, we as New Jerseyans can do something. We can warn you about Chris Christie, okay? There's finally something we as New Jerseyans can stand up and be like, we barely recovered from Chris Christie. Don't do it. Don't do it.
No, I don't
I
think
mean,
he's gonna win. So
Oh no, he's definitely not going to win. Absolutely not. Nobody even knows who he is. The only reason I know who he is because, like I said, you bring up his name in New Jersey, and it's like, no. It was a very traumatic time in New Jersey, and we have not forgotten.
I mean, I'm sure New Jersey hasn't forgotten.
As I was saying,
Like I
yeah,
said, it's New Jersey.
yes. You know what? At least we don't have half the shit you guys have. Tornado warnings, hurricane warnings, power outages.
I've never
negative
seen a
fo-
hurricane warning on the high plains in my entire life.
I'm
That does
not-
not
Me
happen
either.
here.
I'm
Me
just
either.
saying, in general, you'll get someone from Florida, and you'll be like, "We have a hurricane. I'm hiding under my desk."
No, we get tornadoes, we get
Yeah.
Lightning, we get hail the size of your head.
We don't have
we get earthquakes
hail.
occasionally. Volcano.
I-
I live next to
We
the largest
don't
super
have-
volcano above the ocean floor.
All
I
of
get
that
none of it.
stuff goes to. We don't even have any of it. Okay, so yes, New Jersey is boring, but you know what? I don't have to worry
And it
about my-
smells.
It does not smell.
yes,
It
it does.
smells.
No, it doesn't. What are you talking about?
It smells like New Yorkers.
No, it doesn't.
Mhm.
There's a reason.
Suka's got a point here. You do have
Yes.
Snooki.
But you know what? We also. But come on. What would you rather have? Tornadoes or Snooki?
Tornadoes,
even know- I
hands
didn't
down,
even-
no contest,
I never
no
even met her.
hesitation.
I didn't even know she existed until you guys cat. Snooki's in New
I-
Jersey. I have no idea who Snooki. She's a
Yeah.
New Jersey cat. No.
Real quick, Zillage. Yes. What do you think Yellowstone National Park is?
Mhm.
See, volcanoes.
It's
We
the
don't have-
largest super volcano on the surface of the earth. It's above sea level.
We are so boring.
or
And
above
that's
the
why
ocean
people forget
floor,
about
rather.
us. And you know what? We don't want you guys to remember we exist because we don't want all the crazies coming to New Jersey. Okay? All of you can stay out. And just
Well, I will because it smells there.
it does not smell.
Yes, it
It
does.
smells.
No, I'm in New Jersey right now.
Yes, because your nose
Your
is
nose is
tainted.
used to it.
Have you
yeah.
been to New Jersey?
Yes, I have.
Oh, okay, never mind. I don't smell anything. It smells like nothing.
I've never
That's
been
'cause
there,
you're
but I
used to
watched
it.
Jersey Shore, unfortunately.
Yeah, but you know what? I think I like this the boringness where I don't have to worry about floods or my house getting ripped. Every now and then we'll get like a random thing every like 10 years. It'll suddenly be like massive storm hits New Jersey. And then it's like another 10 years before it happens again because it's New Jersey. Nothing happened here. Most people have no idea who Phil Murphy is. No one knows who Chris Christie is other than New Jerseyans because he's been forgotten. Because it's New Jersey.
Kat, you guys also have the Jersey Devil. That's another reason not to be there.
Yeah, but nobody's even heard it. Most people are like, do you know what the Jersey? They'll think of the hockey team. We are so inconsequential. I bet you both sides of, though actually, I can't remember which one. I think Clinton came.
So Lawrence,
All right.
what do you have next up?
Yeah, we were on our outros here because we were
Okay, sorry.
pushing 3 hours here. So yeah,
yes.
Larry, what do you got coming up? What's going on? What's
Um,
happening?
me. So you guys can catch me next Friday on Abyssal Musings with my co-host Samuel the Infamous, and of course, Know Me Without You.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. See, short, sweet, and to the point. That's pretty awesome. That almost never happens. Usually we go off on a tangent like I'm about to do right now. I'm just kidding. Kat, what do you have coming up?
I might live stream tomorrow. I don't know about Merry Madness on Thursday. Royal Rumble on Friday. I live stream on Saturday. I might randomly live stream during the week. I don't know.
All from New Jersey?
Yes, from New Jersey. In fact, I might even make a video.
Are you gonna use air freshener? You know New Jersey smells.
It does not smell.
I can smell it from here.
It smells like ass.
Well, at least I don't have to
And
worry about it.
cannolis.
I said, you know what? Yes, everyone in New Jersey smells. All the crazy, stay out of New Jersey. It's nice, quiet, and peaceful. Nothing happens here, and I like it that way. The worst thing that ever happened was when the air conditioning unit at my job was on fire.
Don't you guys have that congressman that keeps having strokes?
No, that's not us. That's Fetterman in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. There we go.
Yeah,
next
see?
door.
My apologies. Yeah.
You don't even know the names of my congressmen.
Yeah, all of your states are so goddamn small, it's easy to get them confused.
New Jersey isn't small.
Yeah, it is.
By comparison to us out west.
Yeah.
Fine. Yes, it is.
You know, you could fit like 25 New Jerseys in my state alone, right?
Mhm.
Yes. So see, we are so inconsequential. You don't even know the names of our congressmen.
Because they don't matter.
Yes, because they don't matter. Because New Jersey doesn't matter. And you know what? We like it that way.
No, fair enough. All right, folks. My name is Samuel the Infamous, and I'd like to thank all of my co-panelists, especially our special guest today, Mr. Corin Nemec, for joining us for the first hour. And this has been a lot of fun. We got a little bit heated, but that's fine. We'll make up afterwards. No kissing, no, because she's that'd be haram. I don't think Kat's into tentacles anyway.
No.
Yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this. It just kind of came out wrong, so we're gonna just slide past what I just said and say,
yeah, because I caught that.
No.
I caught that. And that's unfair.
I think everybody did, Larry, and that's why we're sliding past it.
I ain't sliding past nothing.
Stop with the sliding. Stop with the sliding.
Yeah.
Stop.
Anyway, you can catch. We will see. We're supposed to be doing Star Trek Engage tomorrow. I don't know.
Are you still
There's a
on
lot
the
of
card?
stuff up. There's a lot of stuff up in the air. Yeah, we're still waiting to do the last 2 episodes.
Okay.
And all that. There's kind of a lot up in the air because a lot of personal shit has happened for a lot of different panelists on kind of all at once, sort of like the perfect shitstorm of not being able to just get the stream done and over with so we can move on to the original series. But it may come up, it may not. I will post something in the community tab if we are not going to go live. If we are, it'll be the link to the stream. And then I don't know for sure if Amira was planning on doing anything tonight, but you can also find Lawrence Knight and myself on the Linus Exiled channel, usually weekly, sometimes not.
I messaged her. The response I got was, "I don't know."
Okay, so
that usually means no.
I thought it would have been the usual response would be. I
yeah.
hear you're on another live stream, Larry. What are you doing on another live stream, Larry?
You sound a little bit like Larry King right there.
A little bit.
Yeah,
little bit.
you had
or
that
him?
kind of you had that
Me?
kind of like flow to the way you were saying that Larry King does. Yeah, it was weird.
Woman.
Well, as far as Amira, she did broadcast 3 days in a row this week, so that's a record for her.
Mr. Dystopian, hello. You just
You walked into the end.
Yes.
And we're trying to get out of here, and I'm trying to plug
Yes.
stuff. And anyway, next week, next Friday, we'll be at I'm pulling a Nomi here. Abyssal Musings on Friday with Nomi and Lawrence and myself, and then back here for another Screaming into the Void. So yeah, anything important comes up, I'll try to remember to post it in the community tab and let you guys know what's going on, when it's going on, that kind of thing. If you are on my channel, all of the links for everybody who was on panel and some people who weren't are in the description below, as well as JB's merch link. Go buy a bitch's shirt. It supports people with disabilities.
Yes.
That's it. Excuse me. Thank you all for coming. Remember, YouTube, it could always be worse. It could be raining flaming cobras. Good.
Toodles.
Well, I say every